Ciel Phantomhive was an ordinary boy until his family met a tragic end in a house fire by an unknown man. Driven by hatred and revenge, this boy decided to make a deal with one heck of a demon butler, Sebastian, who will serve him as his right-hand man. However, Sebastian only seeks to make his master's soul taste better for when their deal is done, since their deal is, once he gets his revenge, his soul will be his. Although, I'm pretty sure your girl would still summon Sebastian even if they knew the cost. What am I kidding? We're gonna be lonely forever or going to go on a trip to get the milk. Either or. The anime begins with a butler named Sebastian who makes all the girls in real life only like 2D guys, presenting breakfast and tea to his master Ciel, while also notifying him of upcoming appointments with Mr. Hughes, a Roman Empire history expert, and Mr. Damiano from the Poseidon Company. Alongside these distinguished guests, a man named Baldo, engaged in stuffed animal production in India, is also scheduled to visit. Attended by the butler, the master readies himself for the day, displaying remarkable skill by effortlessly intercepting a thrown dart as he departs. Amidst the mansion's grandeur, the master enjoys breakfast in the company of his maids. The butler enters, reassigning tasks and admonishing the maids for their diligence. The master then ascends to the mansion's upper floor, gazing upon a portrait of his departed parents. The dining table is immaculately set with gleaming silver cutlery and a pristine, wrinkle-free tablecloth. The master's favorite white roses have been meticulously tended to, and an array of carefully selected ingredients lays the foundation for an exquisite dinner. This lavish hospitality exemplifies the standards of the Phantomhive household. Bells labeled with different titles beckon in the study, guiding the master through the corridor. His summons draw the attention of the other maids, who seize this opportunity to prove their worth and outshine their peers in the eyes of their master. Desiring a sweet treat, the master's request is countered by the handsome-looking Sebastian, unlike yourself, his butler, who advises against it due to the impending dinner with guests. However, the master remains resolute, demanding a parfait and commanding Sebastian to remove a portrait from the hall, symbolizing his authority as the head of the Phantomhive family. Sebastian, with an air of authority, points out flaws in the preparations, a barren harvest, broken cutlery, and charred stoves, mocking the other maids. A sense of urgency envelops them as they have a mere 2 hours before the guests' arrival. Sebastian channels the disciplined approach of Tanaka, another household member, and instructs the maids to act swiftly and efficiently. The guests arrive by buggy, greeted by Sebastian. The stone garden, a Japanese tradition, captivates the visitors, who are then led to the manor to await dinner. Engaging in a game of Monopoly, the master and the guest discuss East India's business landscape and exceptional staff. The master's mention of being entranced by the eyes of the deceased intrigues the guest. Amid their conversation, the master interrupts, urging the guest to make his move and disclose his reason for seeking support, a request for an additional £12,000. The guest outlines a potentially lucrative venture aiming to elevate the Phantom Company's presence in South Asia, but is halted by the master's cryptic comment. As the dinner preparations conclude, the guests are invited to the dining table. Sliced raw beef, known as donburi, is presented as an ancient Japanese dish. Sebastian's presentation is flawlessly theatrical and exudes confidence. A mishap involving spilled wine is swiftly rectified by Sebastian, leaving the guest awestruck by the impeccable hospitality. The master encourages the guest to resume their game, but the guest, citing another commitment, exits after cryptically mentioning a contract. Using the telephone, the guest communicates with someone, expressing disinterest in a factory's welfare and intentions to pocket the proceeds. A feeling of being observed unsettles him, culminating in a fleeting encounter with a phantom face rising from a portrait. Dismissing it as a trick of the mind, they resume their game. Lost within the mansion's labyrinthine corridors, the guest encounters the phantom face once more, which precipitates a fall down the stairs, severely injuring his leg. In his desperation, he encounters Sebastian, who encourages him to savor the experience. Terrified, the guest retreats to a dim room, mistaking an oven for a cupboard. Sebastian enters, remarking that the oven has been started, and a sequence of events unfolds eerily mirroring their Monopoly game. Surveillance, injury, stumbling steps, and ultimately being consumed by flames. Sebastian delivers lemon pie to the maids, endearing himself to them. He also orders Baldo to replace the kitchen oven, and Ciel, the master, hears the guest's screams, echoing his perception of the guest's greed as akin to that of a pig's. Ciel comprehends that Damiano betrayed his factory workers and aimed to keep the profit for himself. In a different thread of this enigmatic tale, Baldo and his companions are engaged in the challenging task of rat catching. Meanwhile, nobles like Ciel are indulging in a game of snooker pool. One inquisitive noble queries Ciel about the eradication of vermin, to which Ciel nonchalantly responds, asserting his authority to do so at his leisure. He playfully references the forbidden cheese with its nibbles from the rats. The control over the storehouse key lies in Ciel's hands, yet it requires considerable effort to locate the rat's nest and eliminate the rodents. The noble proposes that a suitable reward be prepared for this undertaking. Sir Arthur mockingly labels Ciel a vulture, to which Ciel retorts by highlighting his family crest's dignity. Ciel rises from his seat, declaring an end to the feudal game. Arthur promises that the rewards will be ready by nightfall, and Ciel offers to send carriages. He then astounds the onlookers by sinking 2 balls with a single shot. Madame Red admires Sebastian's skills and even indulges in a rather inappropriate gesture towards him. Ciel subtly signals her to cease her actions, leading her to apologize for her actions. As they convene for tea in the guest room, it's revealed that Madame Red is Ciel's aunt. Ciel excuses himself from the room, leaving behind a group of maids grappling with a rat-catching challenge. Sebastian updates Ciel on the menu and inquires about dining with the guests. Ciel instructs Sebastian to bring his lunch to his room, expressing his reluctance to deal with the matters at hand. As Ciel enters his room, he is suddenly ambushed, a cloth placed over his mouth to incapacitate him. A concerned Sebastian knocks on Ciel's door but receives no response. Upon entering, he discovers the room in disarray, lamenting the potential waste of tea. In an alternate narrative in Old London, the hierarchy of England's underworld is personified by an infamous noble. Known as the Queen's Guard Dog, he embodies absolute power, swiftly quelling those who oppose the monarchy. Ciel finds himself chained and bloodied, facing this villainous figure, Azzurro Venal of the Pharaoh family. The Italian mafia's struggles in England are evident, and Azzurro berates Englishmen for their perceived weakness for the Queen. Ciel and Azzurro engage in a conversation touching upon drug trade and royal mandates. Azzurro's intention is to halt the vermin and drug operations at Ciel's behave. However, their dialogue takes an aggressive turn, with Azzurro pointing a gun at Ciel, demanding the key to the storehouse. When Ciel produces the key, he is shot multiple times by Azzurro, who then orders his henchmen to kill Ciel's servants. Azzurro's men reveal their master's name and hideout to Sebastian before meeting their fate as the vehicle thereon plunges off a cliff. Back at the mansion, Azzurro tightens security and guards the entrance. In a swift and brutal sequence, Sebastian infiltrates the guards, slaying them with cutlery and steel plates. Azzurro's confidence crumbles as he faces Sebastian, but he takes Ciel hostage, demanding the goods. As Sebastian retrieves the key and presents it, Azzurro shoots him, only to find Sebastian unaffected. Sebastian's resilience stuns Azzurro and leaves him defenseless, enabling Ciel to mock his downfall. Azzurro is eventually defeated by Sebastian, whose otherworldly abilities and loyalty to Ciel are unveiled. Azzurro's men inadvertently disclose vital information about their master before Sebastian terminates them. As Sebastian exits the mansion, Ciel's home is reduced to ashes, marking the climax of a tale entangled in secrets, power struggles, and the enigmatic connection between master and butler. Amidst the whirlwind of events, the butler, Madame Red's trusted servant, Slam, unwittingly stumbles into a chaotic scenario. His delivery of hot tea takes a disastrous turn, as he accidentally spills it on one of the maids. A mishap follows when he inadvertently shatters cutlery and disturbs the tablecloth, sending Ciel's meal askew and turning the room into a mess. Ballad voices his frustration, questioning Ciel's choice of hiring such an inept individual. Ciel attributes his decision to a miscalculation, revealing Madame Red's request to groom Slam as a version of Sebastian. In return for this favor, she promises rewards. Ciel's assumption was that only Sebastian would be inconvenienced, thereby avoiding any actual harm. The other maids express their anger and disdain toward Grell, who initiated the chaos, even resorting to pointing a knife at him in a bid to shame him. Sebastian intervenes, suggesting that Grell needn't die, as his blood would make cleaning the room even more challenging. Grell perceives Sebastian's unusual kindness, and despite the tense atmosphere, acknowledges it. Nonetheless, Sebastian remains incredulous about the notion of Grell serving the young master. Sebastian takes on the task of rectifying the situation. He guides Grell in brewing the perfect tea, correcting the fragrance Les Bruglam had prepared earlier. All the maids observe Sebastian's actions intently, absorbing the lesson. Sebastian then informs Ciel that a carriage awaits him outside. Advising Grell not to stir up further trouble, Sebastian departs. In another part of London, a bustling street is filled with people engaged in their daily routines. A man reads news about a mysterious murder of a prostitute. Ciel and Sebastian enter a shop to acquire walking sticks for Ciel. One of the sticks is a magnification tool, perfectly straight. After purchasing the walking sticks, Sebastian and Ciel discuss the recent disturbances caused by Grell and others. The Phantom toy manufacturing company has witnessed remarkable growth in the past 3 years, which is reflected in the magnificence of the rebuilt mansion. Meanwhile, Grell and other maids converse about the mansion's history. The real Tanaka reveals to Grell that the previous Phantomhive generation died in a fire 3 years ago, leading to the mansion's reconstruction. Grell learns that Ciel's parents perished in the blaze. In an eccentric gesture, Grell shapes the bushes into skull formations, baffling the others. Upon their return to the mansion, Ciel and Sebastian are greeted by a surprising and extravagant transformation. The mansion is adorned in girly decorations, and all the maids attribute the creation to a certain girl in a specific room. Ciel enters the room to find Lady Elizabeth running toward him, embracing him in a warm hug. He gazes at the mansion with a mixture of disappointment and disbelief. Sebastian greets Lady Elizabeth as she continues her whirlwind of activities, dressing everyone like babies. Ciel questions Elizabeth about her presence and her mother's whereabouts. Elizabeth admits to sneaking out to see Ciel. Grell inquires about Elizabeth's identity, and Sebastian identifies her as Lady Elizabeth Ethel Cordelia Midford, Ciel's betrothed. Elizabeth insists on having a ball that evening and has already selected attire for Ciel. Sebastian advises Ciel to comply with her wishes temporarily, and then ask her to leave. Ciel instructs Sebastian to provide Elizabeth with dinner and escort her out. Ciel emphasizes his busy schedule, expressing his reluctance to waste time on frivolous matters. Sebastian offers Ciel a fruit cake as a solution. Ciel eventually concedes to Elizabeth's demand for a ball, a move aimed at keeping her happy. He agrees to dance as well, as Sebastian suggests that a first-class gentleman is expected to possess dancing skills. Despite his initial reluctance, Ciel agrees to be taught by Sebastian. Sebastian assumes the role of Ciel's dance instructor, imparting the art to him. He advises Ciel to adjust his facial expressions accordingly. Ciel shares his difficulty in smiling and having fun naturally. As Ciel descends the staircase, he encounters Elizabeth, prompting a change in his expression. Elizabeth notices a ring in Ciel's hand and questions its absence from her collection. She takes the ring from him and unintentionally breaks it while tossing it aside. This act of destruction infuriates Ciel, and he is on the verge of striking Elizabeth before Sebastian intervenes. Sebastian explains the significance of the ring, stating it's an heirloom of the Phantomhive family, passed down through generations. Ciel's anger subsides, and he takes a softer approach, suggesting they dance together. As Sebastian plays the violin in the background, Grell joins in, singing along. Ciel and Elizabeth take to the dance floor, their graceful moves continuing until Elizabeth is exhausted. Eventually, Elizabeth is sent home in a carriage. Late at night, Sebastian returns the repaired ring to Ciel, having mended it to perfection. He tells Ciel that a Phantomhive butler incapable of such feats isn't worthy of his position. Ciel then requests that Sebastian stay with him until he falls asleep. Having relocated to their secondary residence, Sebastian and Ciel enter a room already occupied by Madame Red and Lau, who informs Ciel that his presence here indicates a significant event. The Queen's guard dog is taking action. Ciel discusses a recent perplexing murder of a prostitute in White-Capelle. The gruesome details of the murder are disturbingly bizarre. The victim, Mary Ann Nichols, was gruesomely dismembered, and the press dubs the killer Jack the Ripper. Lau playfully teases Ciel's aversion to facing such macabre circumstances, describing the scene's dark aura and its capacity to consume those who engage with it. Lau questions if Ciel is prepared for the ensuing madness. Ciel dismisses Lau's query, stating that he came to allay Madame Red's worries and won't be deterred by such a question. Intriguingly, Ciel arrives at the murder scene, where a constable mistakes him for a child and urges him to leave. Sir Arthur Randall arrives and questions Ciel's presence. Ciel claims to be cleaning up after the sluggish authorities working on the case. He presents Arthur with a letter, asserting that Scotland Yard could benefit from his insights. Arthur dismisses Ciel, insisting that they don't need his assistance. Later, Ciel and Sebastian visit an undertaker's establishment run by an acquaintance of Ciel. The undertaker reveals that the victims' wombs are missing from their bodies. The gruesome nature of the murders involves both brutal slashing and precise organ removal, hinting at a ritualistic aspect. Sebastian and the undertaker discuss the intricate nature of the mutilations. Ciel and Sebastian present their hypothesis. They believe the murder involves ritualistic practices and secret societies or black magic. Sebastian volunteers to compile a list of suspects and question them. As they return home, they are surprised to find Sebastian awaiting their arrival. Sebastian has already finished the list, contacted suspects, and gathered statements. This astounds Madame Red and Lau. Their investigation leads them to one primary suspect, Alistair Chambers, Viscount Droot. He graduated from medical school but never practiced, instead hosting parties that seem to have an exclusive and secretive nature. To infiltrate Droot's last party of the season, Ciel disguises himself as a prostitute while Sebastian plays the role of his tutor. Madame Red cautions Ciel to maintain his facade and not reveal his true identity as a Phantomhive. The partygoers discuss Droot, known for his libertine tendencies and rumored involvement in black magic. As they engage with the guests, Ciel's panic spikes when he hears Elizabeth's voice. Sebastian advises Ciel to remain calm and hide, diverting Elizabeth's attention. The ladies chat about Droot's reputation while Droot himself takes an interest in Ciel. He flirts with Ciel, who finds the encounter repulsive. Droot leads Ciel away, and the scene transitions to Ciel waking up confined in a cage. He realizes he's being auctioned, with people bidding to possess or use him as they please. In a desperate plea, Ciel calls out to Sebastian using his magical eye. The room plunges into darkness, and when light is restored, everyone has fallen unconscious. Sebastian has arrived, unties Ciel, and frees him from the cage. Sebastian suggests that this incident resolves the case of Jack the Ripper. The two decide to leave before Scotland Yard arrives. The following day's newspaper headlines reveal another murder attributed to Jack the Ripper, implying that Droot wasn't the actual perpetrator. Ciel is left in disbelief and confusion as the case takes an unexpected turn. The headlines declare that Jack the Ripper has struck again. In a heartfelt conversation, Madame Red speaks to Ciel about the challenges he faces as the Queen's guard dog. She reflects on how his mother, her sister, would never have wanted him to be associated with the underworld. Ciel shares that his purpose isn't solely to avenge his parents. He aims to inflict the same suffering upon those who betrayed and defiled his family. Despite her inability to bear children, Madame Red considers Ciel as her own. After she leaves, she entrusts Sebastian with Ciel's safety. Sebastian enters Ciel's room, discussing the ongoing case of Jack the Ripper. They ponder whether the Viscount they suspected is truly the culprit. In a clandestine location, they stake out and observe someone. Suddenly, a loud scream pierces the air, prompting them to rush toward the source. Opening the door, they find a prostitute's bloodied body on the ground. As they step back, Grell emerges from the room, drenched in blood. Grell abandons his pretense and reveals his true appearance, sporting red hair, sharp teeth, and glasses. He introduces himself as Grell Sutcliffe, the butler of the Grim Reapers. It's the first time Ciel sees a demon acting as a butler. Sebastian questions why a divine entity like Grell has chosen to be a butler. Grell hints at falling in love with certain women. Madame Red also exits the room, and it becomes apparent that Ciel had suspected her and Grell for some time. Grell lunges at Ciel and Sebastian with a chainsaw, but Sebastian expertly parries the attack. Ciel is intrigued by the unusual weapon and asks Sebastian about it. Sebastian explains that it's the scythe of a Grim Reaper, and Grell refers to it as his death scythe. Grell reveals his affinity for the color red, likening his gruesome work to painting the ugly women with beautiful red blood. Ciel removes his eye patch and commands Sebastian to end both of their opponents. Grell fiercely assaults Sebastian with his chainsaw, relentlessly pushing him back. Sebastian employs his agility to evade the attacks, their clash intensifying. In the midst of the battle, Madame Red targets Ciel and wounds his forearm. He demands to know why she did it, and she angrily retorts that he should never have been born, attacking him with a dagger. Sebastian prepares to kill Madame Red, but Ciel intervenes, preventing him from doing so. Madame Red's memories flood back as she sees her sister and Ciel, and her resolve wavers. Grell exploits the moment, impaling her heart with his chainsaw, expressing his disappointment. As Madame Red falls, her life flashes before her eyes, a cinematic record of her deeds and misdeeds. She recalls how she lost her husband and was unable to bear a child. Fueled by anger at prostitutes who aborted their babies without remorse, she killed each one that came to her for abortion. As her coat is removed and she prepares to leave, Ciel commands Sebastian to kill Grell. Grell questions whether Ciel isn't afraid of death. Ciel calmly responds that as long as he holds the contract, Sebastian is his loyal servant, bound to obey his every order. Ciel gently drapes his coat over Madame Red's lifeless body, paying his respects to the fallen. The battle between the demon and the Grim Reaper erupts, escalating on the rooftop of a nearby house. Grell launches relentless attacks at Sebastian, who skillfully evades each strike. Their clash is illuminated by the moonlight. Despite Grell's flirtatious behavior, Sebastian is repulsed by his antics. Grell advances, headbutting Sebastian and slashing his chest with the chainsaw. Blood flows from the wound, triggering Sebastian's cinematic memories to unfold. Amidst the chaos, Sebastian's concern for his clothes surprises Grell. Sebastian contemplates using a technique he had hoped to avoid, but circumstances compel him to employ it. With a serious demeanor, Sebastian confronts Grell, and they square off under the moon's glow. Thinking quickly, Sebastian tosses his tailcoat onto the chainsaw, immobilizing it. He explains that the tailcoat, made of high-quality Yorkshire wool, possesses remarkable frictional force, making it difficult to remove once ensnared. Although he laments damaging the coat, Sebastian gains the upper hand as Grell struggles to free the chainsaw. Engaging in a fistfight, Sebastian gains confidence, delivering a flurry of kicks and punches. As he approaches Grell, he considers the Grim Reaper's scythe and its cutting power. Picking up the chainsaw, Sebastian questions Ciel's readiness to bear the weight of killing a divine being. Ciel firmly asserts his order. However, their confrontation is disrupted by William T. Spears, an administrator from the Grim Reaper's Staffing Association. William intervenes, apologizing for Grell's actions and explaining that he violated the Reaper's code. William swiftly apprehends Grell and departs, leaving Sebastian and Ciel behind. They return to their mansion in London. At Madame Red's funeral, Sebastian places a red dress over her casket, a gesture of remembrance. Meanwhile, Scotland Yard continues its investigation into the recent incidents. Ciel refrains from revealing the identity of Jack the Ripper to authorities, in line with the Queen's wishes to conclude the matter. The objective has been achieved. Ciel advises Lau to leave London and the opium den behind. Lau jokes about his attachment to the country. Ciel visits the grave of the last victim of Jack the Ripper, laying flowers as he reflects on the events of the previous night. Ciel, Sebastian, and their maids head towards Queen's Health Resort, arriving at the entrance of the village. They notice colorful fabrics hanging from a barren tree and animal skulls scattered on the ground, ominous signs that hint at the village's planned transformation into the resort. Ciel explains the history of bear baiting and its transformation into dog fighting using attack dogs instead of bears. Houndsworth, a village known for this practice, is their destination, to be secured under the guise of a health resort construction site. Sebastian inquires about the need for them to personally oversee this project. Ciel reveals that there's a deeper reason, something the Phantomhive family must handle in person. They encounter an elderly woman who labels Ciel's black appearance as an omen of bad luck. This eerie introduction sets the tone for their visit.
Not especially fond of dogs. To be completely frank, I hate them. Woof.
Upon reaching the village, they are met by a maiden who escorts them to her master. Unbeknownst to Ciel, her master beats her with a whip, mistaking him for someone else. The master, still skeptical of Ciel's role, can't believe such a tiny poodle could be the Queen's messenger. Ciel's purpose is to negotiate the purchase of Houndsworth, but the master is adamant about not selling due to a perceived curse. The villagers missing or dying under mysterious circumstances is part of the curse's effects. Ciel finds this intriguing and decides to witness this calamity himself. Angela, the maiden, engages with other maids, discussing the village's mysterious events. At night, Angela implores Ciel to leave, and they hear eerie howling that terrifies her. Demon hounds are approaching. She claims that anyone defying the village is cursed by these supernatural hounds, a law the villagers adhere to strictly. The next day, they visit the beach, with Ciel's maids enjoying the water while he reads. Ciel orders Sebastian to intervene, leading to an altercation with the villagers. Finney intervenes when dogs are being attacked, and Ciel and the others are soon chained up. Angela begs for their forgiveness, but Henry, the master of the village, demands their departure. Ciel refuses to bow down to his obsession with power and decides to protect his tiny kingdom. As Henry releases dogs to attack, Sebastian arrives, swiftly fending them off. He displays his devil's eyes, frightening the dogs into submission, shocking the villagers. Ciel exposes Henry's manipulations, revealing that he projected the illusion of a demon hound to maintain control. He demonstrates that Henry's true intent was to consolidate power, deceiving the villagers for years. Sebastian provides evidence, a skull that matches the teeth marks found on the body of one victim, and a piece of cloth bitten off Henry's leg by one of the dogs. Henry's deception is laid bare, and the villagers turn against him. As they prepare to leave, a scream is heard. Mei Rin has discovered blood in Henry's cell. His lifeless body is found in the same spot where the villagers executed their punishments, bringing an unexpected end to his reign of manipulation and terror. Sebastian and Ciel stood before Henry's cell, surrounded by a macabre scene of bloodstains. Suddenly, a frantic villager approached them, trembling, and delivered the grim news that the dreaded demon hound had exacted its punishment on Henry and other villagers who were caught in its vengeful ire. The villagers, filled with fear, chanted a song condemning the disobedient black dog. Rushing to the location, Sebastian examined Henry's lifeless body, noting his maimed left hand, violently torn away. Ciel revealed that this village had been isolated due to the terror of the demon hound's curse, which Ciel suspected was fabricated by Lord Henry to solidify his rule. But now, with Henry dead, the truth was enigmatic. Sebastian voiced the notion that this gruesome act wasn't committed by a human. At bedtime, Ciel questioned Sebastian's cryptic remark, leading to Sebastian's revelation that the hound was targeting Lord Henry himself, as he was the primary subject of its pursuit. He speculated that no one else would have been a target. During the night, Finney and Mei Rin heard strange noises emanating from Angela's room. prompting them to investigate her safety. To their astonishment, they stumbled upon a disconcerting sight. A naked man was licking Angela's neck. Shocked, Finney fled while Mayrin relayed the situation. Angela was nowhere to be found. Bald informed them that he had gone in search of herbs. Alarmed, they embarked on a quest to locate her. Their search led them to a graveyard where they heard the mournful cry of a werewolf. Concealing themselves, they observed a naked man approaching the graveyard. A noise alerted the man, but he vanished as the villagers appeared unexpectedly. After their departure, the man transformed into the demon hound. As it lunged toward Finney, Sebastian intervened, using a strategy of rewards and punishments. He offered dog biscuits, alternately petting and kicking the hound, until it was subdued. Sebastian forcefully hurled the hound into the ground, causing a spring to burst forth. Emerging from the spring, the hound had transformed back into a human. Angela arrived and revealed the man's name as Pluto. She had found him a month earlier and kept him due to his endearing qualities. His tendency to transform into a human when excited had been kept secret. Angela confessed that Lord Barrymore had manipulated the demon hound legend to conceal his own fear of it. She never anticipated that Pluto would harm him. She requested if they could keep Pluto, and despite Sebastian's reluctance, Ciel agreed, teasing Sebastian.
I'm a butler, not one hell of a dog trainer.
Grateful villagers attributed the end of the demon hound curse to Sebastian and his group. Angela explained that the land would weep tears of forgiveness once the sins against dogs from the past were atoned for. The villagers misinterpreted this as the creation of a hot spring, which led to the establishment of a resort. The once gloomy village transformed, and Queen Victoria's concerns were alleviated. The case concluded, Sebastian and company departed for the city, bidding farewell to Pluto and Angela. Gathered before Ciel were his loyal associates, his butler Sebastian, the phantom image known as Pluto, his assistants Mayrin and Finney, and the sturdy Bald. In a moment of anticipation, Mayrin inquired about the purpose of their meeting. Ciel revealed his intention to assign them a task. The group's initial concern turned into relief as they realized Ciel wasn't planning to dismiss them. He unveiled an intriguing artifact, a camera reportedly from the renowned collection of William Henry Fox Talbot. The camera held a mysterious ability to capture individuals alongside the beings they cherished most fondly in memory. Suddenly, the real Tanaka emerged, enlightening them about William Henry Fox Talbot's historical significance. A rumor surrounded Talbot's final camera, suggesting that the person most dearly remembered would appear alongside the subject in the photograph. Ciel tested the camera, capturing an image of Finney, revealing a bird, Finney's cherished companion, in the picture. The photograph seemed to conjure memories of departed loved ones, implying the appearance of those who had passed away. Ciel's directive was clear: covertly photograph Sebastian using this peculiar camera, unbeknownst to him. They aimed for a candid shot to unveil Sebastian's hidden affections. The challenge emerged as Sebastian, lightning fast, recited in the library. The camera's 10-second capture time clashed with his swiftness. Repeated attempts to photograph him yielded failure. Unbeknownst to them, Sebastian approached, obliging them to conceal Pluto. The blurred photographs they managed to snap drew Sebastian's attention. In the midst of strategizing, Mr. Lau entered, offering his assistance, which Ciel reluctantly accepted. Ciel warned of the consequences of failure, and as the guests arrived, Sebastian received them. Paul Jones, a journalist from Brit Business, engaged Sebastian in conversation. Sebastian escorted him to meet the genuine Tanaka, the director of the Phantom Company. Though against his intentions, Ciel conceded to using Tanaka to answer questions. As Tanaka assumed a small form to answer queries, Sebastian managed the journalist. Upon departure, the journalist requested a photo with Sebastian, who declined, disappointing him. Ciel later inquired about the interview's outcome, with Sebastian praising Tanaka's performance. In the evening, Ciel instructed Finney to throw a stone statue at him, intending to provoke a reaction. In an unexpected twist, Sebastian intervened, getting hit. Sebastian noted that he would have cooperated had Ciel asked. As they attempted to clarify the photograph, Pluto, with his fiery breath, reduced the images to ashes. Later, Sebastian encountered Ciel asleep in his chair, seizing the opportunity to photograph him alongside Pluto, who clung to a window in the background. A disapproving Ciel confronted Sebastian, attributing the photograph to his own negligence in guarding himself. In a dramatic sequence, a man named Tim flees from his group, having stolen a valuable ring. He halts abruptly, examining the stolen ring. Suddenly, the eerie sound of strings fills the air as an unseen assailant strikes him down and casts his lifeless body into a river. Tim's comrades believe he jumped voluntarily. Meanwhile, the forest fair is in full swing in London, drawing the attention of Sebastian and Ciel. Concurrently, Elizabeth, accompanied by her maid, discusses Ciel's upcoming birthday and her gift plans. On a bridge, a conversation ensues regarding Tim's body found without the ring. The group surmises the ring might be submerged in the river. Ciel's attention is drawn to a fake Phantom Company boat toy amidst the fair's attractions. Phantom arcs, exceedingly rare, were crafted by a talented artist patronized by Ciel's predecessor. Notably, they possess cutting-edge technology. Ciel recalls that after his mansion was razed, he no longer possesses one. During their fair visit, Ciel spots a Scotland Yard officer who's not there for leisure but duty. The officer invites Ciel to tea to discuss a matter. The officer reveals the discovery of a criminal organization member's corpse beneath the ice, with a missing blue diamond ring valued at 2,000 quid. Mr. Lau interjects with a reference to the ring's legend, wherein its allure drives individuals towards their own downfall. Suspicion arises when Lau seems knowledgeable about the Hope piece. The inspector questions Lau, who feigns ignorance. Ciel dismisses Lau's cryptic statements and expresses his willingness to assist. The inspector leads them to the Undertaker's funeral parlor, chosen due to the high number of fatalities during the forest fair. At the funeral parlor, the Undertaker's laughter ignites jealousy in Sebastian, who aspires to be the world's comedic ruler. The Undertaker's response to Ciel's inquiry leads them outside to a sculptor holding the ring. Just as the inspector attempts to seize the ring, Viscount Drood intervenes. Ciel is taken aback, his expression betraying unease. The Viscount proclaims that the ring shall be awarded to the contest victor. Ciel vows to claim the ring, but the inspector shouts that the ring is stolen property and evidence in a series of kidnappings. The truth dawns on Ciel, the Yard is frantically searching for it. He orders Sebastian to win the contest. A rival criminal group enters the competition, confident in their skills. They're determined not to lose to the English competitors, even prepared with explosives. The Forest Fair's sculpting contest commences, but Elizabeth remains melancholic over breaking Ciel's ring. Gazing at a phantom arc, she witnesses a transformation as a stunning sculptor's piece emerges from within. Even Ciel approves. Amidst the contest, a criminal with explosives interrupts, threatening everyone to leave. Ciel stands firm, commanding Sebastian to retrieve the ring. Sebastian's swift actions disarm the situation, his impressive skating maneuvers and leaps captivating the judges. As the standoff intensifies, Sebastian's agility thwarts the criminals, causing chaos. Eventually, Sebastian and Ciel stand atop the Noah's Ark sculpture, having quelled the threat. Tragically, the ring sinks to the depths of the Thames. Elizabeth's disappointment intensifies as she destroys the fake Phantom Ark she purchased. In a poignant moment, she uncovers the Hope piece. It becomes clear that the piece was planted by Tim's murderer, leading to a startling revelation about the crime's perpetrator. May, Rin, and Finney are taken aback as they witness Elizabeth's forceful arrival in her carriage. She rushes towards Ciel, handing him a small gift and urging him to open it. However, upon glimpsing the ring in his hand, she swiftly reclaims the box, mentioning it was merely a ruse. According to Elizabeth, a true lady wouldn't attempt to win a gentleman's affection with material possessions, considering it disgraceful. After bidding her farewell, she vanishes, leaving Ciel bewildered. Sebastian reminds him that his birthday is tomorrow, speculating that Elizabeth's visit might be connected to that. He suggests organizing a birthday party, prompting Ciel to recall past memories of birthday celebrations, overshadowed by the haunting recollection of his parents' mansion being reduced to ashes. He dismisses the idea as nonsense and instructs Sebastian to bring him tea in his room. Meanwhile, Elizabeth's disappointment grows as she returns home. The ring in her possession begins to emit a radiant glow, capturing her attention. She notices a man playing a music box on the street, and his enchanting melody compels her to follow him. She eventually arrives at a toy store where a perceptive man recognizes her sadness. He offers her a seat, prompting Elizabeth to pour out her heart, recounting her troubles. The man proposes numerous gift options within the store, and Elizabeth's gaze falls upon the dolls displayed around her. The man suggests the most fitting present for a precious person might be herself. Back at the mansion, Sebastian informs Ciel that Elizabeth has disappeared on the streets of Islington. While en route to the location, Sebastian presents Ciel with letters from the Queen concerning the kidnapping of young girls. As they travel, Ciel directs Sebastian to compile a list of suspects and investigate the crime scene. Meanwhile, Ciel struggles to control Pluto as they navigate the city. Amid this commotion, Ciel hears Grell's distinctive voice. Grell intervenes, revealing his demotion and his quest to collect troublesome souls for promotion. Pluto races past Grell, leading Ciel to the toy store. Inside the store, Ciel discovers a doll resembling Elizabeth. Grell appears, reciting from his to-die list, where he identifies himself as number 493, butler and puppeteer to the House of Mandalay. Pluto shatters the glass window and attacks the doll. Guided by Pluto, Ciel locates an open door, entering a mansion with a jester theme. Grell follows, and Ciel offers Sebastian's services in exchange for Grell's protection for the day. Grell ecstatically agrees. Inside the mansion, they encounter a victim turned into a statue that grabs Ciel by the neck. Grell saves him, slashing the statue to reveal sand pouring from it. The puppeteer, with a candle in hand, emerges from another room, controlling dolls that converge upon them. Grell attacks but is thwarted by the dolls made of silk. Ciel rushes towards the puppeteer, leaving Grell and Pluto behind. In another room, masks begin to talk and sing the same song, triggering Ciel's memories of his past birthdays. Within this room, a man explains that nothing good ever occurs on Ciel's birthday. He recounts the loss of Ciel's mansion, parents, and now Lady Elizabeth. He claims Sebastian is to blame. Elizabeth reminisces about Ciel's return to the estate, noticing how his smiles had vanished. Despite her affection for Ciel, their relationship seems stuck in a cycle of uncertainty. They both detect the puppeteer's eerie sound, soon discovering a room filled with dolls. Sebastian deciphers that the puppeteer controls the dolls with his voice. He mimics the song's tune, immobilizing the dolls, and systematically disables them. The puppeteer emerges, asserting that Ciel belongs to his master due to the ring on his finger. He reveals that the Hope Piece is a present sent to those destined to become dolls. Sebastian swiftly rescues Ciel by leaping out of a window. Anguished by Elizabeth's fate, Ciel berates Sebastian for not saving her. Sebastian explains that while an order is vital, a contract takes precedence, akin to his allegiance to the Queen. Despite searching every nook, they can't locate Elizabeth, except for a sealed tower. Only Pluto can unlock it. As they approach the door, Pluto's collar gleams, enabling him to open the entrance. The tower's peak houses a wooden door. Upon entering, they discover Elizabeth seated in a corner, controlled by strings. An axe flies towards her, but Sebastian halts its trajectory. Grell intervenes, severing the strings that manipulate Elizabeth. The threads lead to the puppeteer atop the tower. Suddenly, they're ensnared by invisible strings. Sebastian loosens the grip by kicking an axe towards the puppeteer, who crumples dead. Another puppet. Drossel Keynes's soul was collected 5 years ago. Another doll in the room stirs, heading towards a door. Inside, a man sits with his face turned away. They confront him about his transformation of girls into dolls. Ciel tosses the ring at him, who reveals that Ciel's fate was one of death since birth, claiming his existence is impure. He confesses to trying to erase him from the world. Ciel confronts him, realizing it's just another doll. A tiny doll moves in its lap, escaping. Sebastian notices invisible strings, implying another puppeteer. They depart with Elizabeth. Elizabeth throws a small birthday party for Ciel. Post-celebration, she returns home in her carriage. Ciel and Sebastian speculate about the culprit. Ciel recalls a marking on the tower floor that troubles him, but he keeps his uneasiness private. Later, as Ciel retires for the night, Angela captures and crushes the tiny doll. Lifeless bodies hang upside down, suspended by ropes. Scotland Yard officers work diligently to detach the corpses from their morbid restraints, each body accompanied by a note. Inspector Aberline incurs the fury of Sir Arthur due to his inability to apprehend the criminal responsible. Arriving at the scene, Ciel and Sebastian scrutinize the victims, all recent arrivals from India, confirming that none have officially died. A phrase on the notes, "the child of craziness and laziness," intrigues them. A distinct symbol on the notes provokes Sir Arthur's anger, suggesting mockery of both Englishmen and the Queen. The suspect likely hails from India. As Ciel and Sebastian venture into the East End, they're ambushed by hostile thugs who harbor disdain for the British. Before the confrontation escalates, an elegantly dressed Indian man intervenes, demanding the thugs back down. The thugs insultingly refer to Sebastian as Konsama, meaning butler. The man inquires if they are English noblemen, and when confirmed, he orders his companion, Agni, to attack. Agni's blows prove ineffective against Sebastian, whose resilience bewilders them. The leader questions if all Indians are savage enough to attack any wandering Englishman. This triggers his anger, realizing his comrade instigated the brawl without cause. In a surprising turn, he instructs Agni to support Ciel instead. Agni defeats the thugs, and the man introduces himself as Prince Soma of Bengal, aka Prince Soma Asman Kadar. They part ways after bidding farewell. Upon returning home, Ciel and Sebastian find Mr. Lau visiting. Unexpectedly, Prince Soma and Agni appear at their door, explaining that they wish to see Ciel and offer their gratitude for saving them. Agni introduces Prince Soma, revealing him to be the 26th child of the King of Bengal. Ciel instructs Sebastian to keep them under observation. The following day, Ciel wakes up to find Agni and Soma in his room. Soma playfully carries Ciel, proposing they explore London. Sebastian hesitates, citing Ciel's busy schedule. While observing Agni and Soma praying to goddess Kali, they learn about her history. Later, Ciel practices with Sebastian, and Soma persistently urges them to show him London. Ciel's irritation culminates in a challenge. If Soma wins a duel, Ciel will grant him the London tour. Agni inadvertently attacks Ciel's vital point, prompting Ciel to substitute Sebastian in the fight. The duel commences between the two butlers, culminating in a draw after breaking each other's swords. Shockingly, Ciel realizes Soma can match Sebastian's skill. Soma explains that Agni is his palace's finest warrior, a rare opponent who matches him. Ciel questions if Soma is another demon, but he clarifies he's an exceptional human. While Agni offers assistance in the kitchen, he recounts how Soma saved him from execution. Soma discloses they seek a woman named Mina, a former servant and his nursemaid, abducted to England. Soma's emotional connection to Mina compels him to reclaim her. Ciel, however, dismisses the urgency, angering Soma, who insists he can't comprehend his despair. Late at night, Ciel agrees to entertain Soma until bedtime, engaging in a card game. Soma jokingly departs, claiming his busyness unlike Ciel's leisure. Lau expresses suspicion regarding Soma and Agni. Ciel can't discern their motivations, questioning how they could benefit from the crimes. As night falls, Sebastian observes Agni leaving the mansion. Sebastian immediately informs Ciel about Agni leaving the mansion. As they prepare to leave their room, Soma unexpectedly appears, asking to accompany them. He had known about Agni's nightly excursions all along and is determined to uncover the truth. Arriving at Harold West Jebb's estate, a key figure in importing goods from India, they spot Agni entering the premises. Intrigued, they decide to investigate further. Peering inside, they witness Agni conversing with Mr. West. The conversation reveals that Agni has executed their plan flawlessly, eliminating rivals and securing West's power. Mr. West acknowledges Agni's exceptional skills and the fact that he no longer needs to hang more people. Their conversation shifts to Mina, prompting Soma to confront them about her. Soma grabs Agni, demanding to know Mina's whereabouts. In response, Agni confirms Mr. West is his master. Agni attacks Soma under Mr. West's command, but Sebastian intervenes, disguised as a deer. Sebastian saves Soma, claiming to be a deer there to retrieve the prince. Agni is commanded to attack Sebastian, and a fierce battle ensues. Sebastian, with deer-like agility, dodges Agni's attacks, tears of blood streaming from Agni's eyes. Sebastian ultimately escapes with Soma, leaving Agni behind. Back at their residence, Ciel and the others discuss Agni's transformation upon hearing Mr. West's name. Soma explains that Agni's form is a manifestation of Samadhi, where he becomes untouchable through the power of faith born from love and belief in someone. Late at night, Sebastian enters Soma's room and exposes his reliance on Agni. Sebastian claims that Soma is a helpless child who can't do anything without Agni. Soma admits his dependence and perceived loss. Sebastian reminds Soma that he never truly possessed anything. The status, castle, and servants were inherited from his parents, and he never had his own belongings. Sebastian suggests Soma wasn't betrayed since he never had anything to begin with. Ciel interrupts, ending the conversation. The next day, Ciel and Sebastian, along with Soma, discuss Mr. West and the possibility of his involvement in the crimes. Lau explains that West might be pursuing a royal warrant. They explain that a royal warrant signifies official endorsement by the royal family, granting businesses the title of purveyor to the crown. A week later, a curry exhibition is set to take place at Crystal Palace, attended by Queen Victoria, a curry enthusiast. Ciel predicts that West seeks to boost his coffeehouse's popularity by obtaining a royal warrant for his curry. To this end, he used Agni to eliminate competitors and create disturbances. Soma apologizes for his past behavior and offers to join them in investigating. During their preparations, they discuss West's connection to the curry exhibition. The festival commences with the participants showcasing their curry creations. Sebastian is told that Queen Victoria is in attendance. The event begins with fanfare and the rolling out of the red carpet. Amidst the bustling atmosphere of the competition, Queen Victoria arrives cloaked in black attire. The crowd erupts into a song of praise for the queen as she takes her place. The cooking competition begins in full swing, with both Sebastian and Agni displaying their culinary prowess. Each dish is meticulously presented to the judges, who find themselves greatly impressed by Agni's expertly crafted curry. Sebastian's culinary creation, on the other hand, equally garners admiration from the panel of judges. Amidst the excitement, Agni crosses paths with Mina, who reveals that she had already informed Soma of the truth. As Queen Victoria samples Sebastian's curry buns, her enjoyment is palpable. However, a sudden shift occurs as Mina's behavior becomes erratic and violent. She starts attacking the queen's guards and others who had consumed the curry created by the French cook, Angela's influence. The spices used in Angela's creation were forbidden and react adversely to the darkness within human hearts. Chaos ensues, and Mina's assault closes in on Ciel. In the nick of time, Sebastian intervenes, saving Ciel from harm. The forbidden spices' effects are potent, causing those affected by them to turn violent. Agni expresses remorse to Soma and vows to never leave his side again. Soma orders Agni to subdue Mina, and Agni joins Sebastian in the fight to restrain her. Sebastian employs a clever tactic, using his own curry buns to counteract the effects of the forbidden spices. The restorative properties of his buns neutralize the malevolent influence, and the affected individuals gradually regain their composure. As the situation stabilizes, the winner of the royal warrant is announced, and Phantom Company emerges victorious. The crisis averted, Mina is taken into custody by the Queen's royal guard. Queen Victoria herself commends Ciel for obtaining the coveted royal warrant. After extending her congratulations, the Queen takes her leave. Soma, too, expresses gratitude for Ciel's assistance and expresses his appreciation before departing for India with Agni. Ladlo Castle, in the midst of its transformation into a hotel, encounters an unexpected hurdle as the contractors submit a petition requesting a halt to the construction and the dissolution of the contract. Their reasoning: fear of ghosts that supposedly inhabit the castle. With a sense of urgency, they arrive at Ladlo Castle, hoping to swiftly conclude their tasks and return home. However, as they step inside, the door mysteriously shuts behind them, and the atmosphere is set aglow by flickering candlelight. An eerie voice questions their right to enter, and a young boy materializes before them, introducing himself as Edward V, the King of England from roughly 400 years past. Edward V shares that he and his younger brother Richard were confined in the Tower of London just before Edward's coronation. According to legend, their lives were tragically cut short by relatives with ambitions for the throne. This very castle served as their youthful residence. Ciel respectfully kneels before Edward, introducing himself and expressing regret for any unintended disrespect. Ciel attempts to negotiate their departure from the castle, proposing a chess game against Sebastian as a stake. In the ensuing chess match, Ciel finds himself outwitted, resulting in a victory for Sebastian and their commitment to aiding Edward and his brother. Sebastian dutifully assumes his role as a servant, attending to their needs. Meanwhile, Ciel delves into historical accounts, reading about the tragic fate of Edward and Richard. King Edward begins to recount his experience from the time of his murder. He awakens within the castle, devoid of memories from the day he was killed. 4 centuries have passed, and both their killers and protectors have long departed from this world. In the company of his newfound companions, they share a heartfelt dinner. At night, Ciel follows King Edward and witnesses him entering a concealed chamber within the castle's library. The door proves locked, but with Sebastian's deft touch, access is gained. Within this hidden space, they come upon a space that had once been a dungeon for the church's rejected criminals. Forgotten souls, lost even to the reapers, were cast aside here. King Edward reveals his bond with these lost spirits, symbolized by skulls arranged upon a chessboard. Notably absent is a piece representing Richard. Edward discloses that obtaining Richard's skull would grant him and his brother peace, compelling Sebastian to embark on a mission to retrieve the missing piece. Grasping Richard's skull, Sebastian's actions incite Edward's wrath. The king commands Sebastian to attack Ciel, but the loyal butler refuses, citing his contractual obligations. Sebastian clarifies that his actions are guided by his duty to a true master, nothing more. Placing the missing skull onto the board, Ciel and Edward are disheartened as nothing transpires. It is then revealed that the skull wasn't that of Edward or Richard. Instead, it belonged to another. Richard shares the painful tale of their demise, their bodies brutally dismembered and tossed into the Thames, gradually consumed by aquatic life and mud until no trace remained. Touched by their shared sorrow, Ciel encourages Edward to find solace and release the lingering pain. In an emotional embrace, the souls of Edward and Richard find peace and ascend to heaven, bidding farewell to their benefactors, Ciel and Sebastian. The Grim Reaper arrives to guide their souls onward. With their task complete, Sebastian and Ciel return to their own world, leaving behind a castle that has found its closure and the spirits that have been set free. Sebastian commences the day by detailing his schedule to Ciel. A dance lesson with Mrs. Bright is on the morning agenda, followed by an afternoon meeting with Lord Wensler, known for his export-import business. However, Ciel is far from enthusiastic about attending the dance class due to his weariness of it. Upon entering a particular room, they encounter the Queen's butler engaged in conversation with Tanaka. This sight puzzles Ciel, leading him to question why the Queen's butler is present in his mansion. Sebastian discloses that Ash has been the one facilitating Her Majesty's orders. Ciel inquires about the reason behind Ash's visit this time, and he learns of a curious situation. Outside of Preston, a Catholic abbey, long abandoned since the Reformation, has become a gathering place for a cult propagating deviant doctrines. Rumor has it that the cult leader possesses the Doomsday Book, a record of all followers' deeds and sins, as if a registry for the forthcoming Judgment Day. Ash clarifies that the Doomsday Book is not one of earthly possessions, but rather a register of actions meant to be presented before the Lord on Doomsday. There's talk of a potential revolt against the government, which alarms Her Majesty. Ciel probes whether they are being tasked with dispersing or eradicating the cult, and Ash leaves the decision up to them. However, the abbey is heavily fortified, making infiltration challenging. Taking advantage of their chat, Ciel asks Ash about the recent delivery of numerous coffins to the abbey. This intriguing conversation prompts Ciel to visit Undertaker's funeral parlor, seeking assistance. However, upon entering, he is met with the unexpected sight of Grell posing as Undertaker. An amusing exchange follows, revealing Undertaker's unconventional demise involving salt, at which point Ciel queries Grell's presence. Grell explains the recent theft of cinematic records, reels of film containing life memories. Grim Reapers extract these records from individuals on their to-die list, replaying them to determine fate. Curiously, humans only witness these memories upon death. Sebastian inquires whether these records can be stolen, and Grell elucidates that they're stored in a library when not in use. These records encompass the complete past of all currently living beings, encapsulating their crimes and everything else in book form, similar to preparations for doomsday. Ciel beseeches Undertaker, who is now possessed by Grell, for a favor related to the abbey. Undertaker obliges, transporting Ciel in a coffin to the abbey. As Undertaker distracts the guards, Sebastian, Grell, and Ciel stealthily enter. Unexpectedly, the guards themselves usher them in. Once inside the church, Ciel notices a peculiar mark that resonates with one on his body. A child taunts Grell, leading to a brief altercation, and the children subsequently flee, chanting about being uncleaned. A woman dressed as a nun approaches, explaining the concept of impurity among those over a certain age. She deduces that Ciel is a new convert, assuring him that studying their teachings will cleanse his body. Sebastian employs his charm, insinuating that such a beautiful woman couldn't possibly be impure. Sebastian accompanies the nun to engage in a seductive interaction. Afterward, she confides that the long-lived individual's doomsday books are considered impure. Their leader supposedly purifies the impure passage, revealing not just the past, but also the future, albeit only to the chosen children of the heavenly choir. Sebastian deduces that since only young boys are chosen for the choir, Ciel could get close to their leader. The cleaning ceremony unfolds, and Ciel is approached by the cult leader. Sebastian steps in to protect him, ultimately killing the leader upon Ciel's command. However, their moment is disrupted by the appearance of Angela, soaring with wings outstretched. Angela seizes Ciel, revealing a reel of cinematic records that she binds around Sebastian. A deathly confrontation ensues, with Sebastian urging Grell to retrieve his death scythe, unfortunately unavailable, having been taken by William. Angela informs Ciel of her intention to expose the light and darkness of his past, vanishing into a portal, which Sebastian and Grell pursue. Ciel finds himself in a space where his memories are laid bare, each recollection a tangible thread he can touch. One memory reveals his dying father and Angela with bloodied hands. In another setting, Grell and Sebastian enter the Grim Reaper's library of recorded memories. Upon encountering William, who taunts Sebastian's association with a demon, Grell defends their partnership. The tense interaction prompts William to notice an angelic presence. Returning to consciousness, Ciel finds Angela beside him, questioning how he experienced his past. He inquires about the hand that touched him in the abbey, linking it to his father. Did she kill his parents? He asks, and questions the motive behind their deaths. Angela denies being responsible for their deaths and explains that she didn't anticipate him maintaining his sanity in the face of such a distorted past. Her wings envelop him as she explains the nature of his rewritten memories. Meanwhile, in the Grim Reaper's library, Sebastian, Grell, and William strategize against Angela. However, Undertaker appears, distracting them. Grell queries his presence, and William clarifies that he's a legendary Grim Reaper known for coaxing even the most stubborn souls to move on. Angela manages to escape their attention, placing an angelic seal on them to prevent escape. She reappears in the abbey, attempting to cleanse everyone by violence. Stymied by the seal, the group realizes there's one way to counteract it: the Death Bookmark, a tool reserved for the managerial class of the Grim Reapers Association. Undertaker employs the Death Bookmark to halt Matilda Simmons' narrative, sending Sebastian into the fray. There, he confronts Angela, joined by William, who pins the angel to the ceiling using his death scythe. Grell wields the same scythe to pierce Angela's hand. Sebastian employs knives to injure Angela further, but she begins self-destructing with a deafening scream, causing the entire church to tremble. Sebastian instructs everyone to flee as the church collapses. He too departs, and Angela's smile precedes the church's collapse. Believing the ordeal to be over, Ciel implores Sebastian to take his soul, but Sebastian opts to serve him for a while longer. The following day at Undertaker's funeral parlor, Ciel, Sebastian, and Grell question Undertaker about his presence at the library after retirement. Undertaker explains that he forgot to return certain cinematic records. He mentions 2 books regarding the Earl and Countess Phantomhive, unadulterated cinematic records with no angelic alterations. Undertaker suggests Ciel reads them to identify who to seek revenge against. Ciel, however, declines, maintaining that it isn't his practice to repeatedly disgrace the dead. A young boy and an elderly man stumble upon a lifeless body in a river. The corpse, devoid of identification, appears to have been murdered elsewhere before being disposed of in the water. The Scotland Yard takes charge of identifying the victim. In the midst of this investigation, Ciel arrives on the scene. He informs the officials that the deceased is John Stanley and presents certain documents to Sir Arthur. Additionally, Ciel expresses his desire to inspect the victim's personal belongings for any potential clues. Inspector Aberline conveys that no significant items were found that could aid in identification. Subsequently, Ciel and Sebastian leave the premises. Ciel takes over the case that was handed to him by Ash. It concerns the discovery of a body at Regent Dock, identified as John Stanley. The victim was associated with a shipping company and was also involved in the underworld under a secret directive from Queen Victoria. While Her Majesty has provided orders for the disposal of a certain item related to Stanley, she has chosen not to disclose all the details to even Ciel, her most trusted guardian. Ciel is keen on uncovering the motive behind Stanley's murder. Sebastian suggests that they should search for witnesses who might have observed the crime. Together, Ciel and Sebastian proceed to the residence of Mr. Lau. Mr. Lau holds the position of president in the English branch of the Chinese trading company Kunlun. He also happens to lead the Shanghai Mafia's Green Gang. The ongoing investigation by Scotland Yard has yielded no information about John Stanley. Lau informs Ciel that a new drug named Lady Bran has been circulating in the city. However, Lau denies any knowledge or encounters with Stanley. Ciel discloses his mission to Lau, revealing that he is on a quest to locate a particular item that Stanley was supposed to possess. Ciel instructs Lau to spread a false rumor suggesting that he has acquired a valuable item from the deceased man found at the dock. This strategy is aimed at causing the person who murdered Stanley and took possession of his belongings to doubt the authenticity of the item they acquired, potentially prompting them to seek Ciel. During their conversation, Mei Rin suddenly cries out, startled by something in her pocket. Upon examination, it is revealed that she possesses candies given to her during her time in the city. Finny also has some of these candies, which are packaged by Phantom Company. Tanaka, the real one, discloses that the packaging is authentic, but the content within is not genuine. Sebastian tastes the candies and concludes that they are morphine derived from opium. This aligns with the new merchandise that Lau mentioned. In light of this revelation, Ciel urgently orders Sebastian to head to his candy company. However, their plans are abruptly halted as Aberline detains Ciel on suspicion of violating the Medicines Act and collaborating with Lau, who is believed to be connected to the sale of the new drug. Aberline reveals the discovery of a significant quantity of opium in Ciel's warehouses. Moreover, most officers dispatched to apprehend Lau were either injured or killed. Sir Arthur, following a personal order from Queen Victoria, orders the separation of Sebastian from Ciel and points a gun at the young Earl. A recent directive from the Queen has led to Sebastian's detention for further investigation. Sebastian finds himself imprisoned and subjected to brutal torture in order to extract a confession from him. Meanwhile, Aberline questions Ciel about his involvement in the drug case. Ciel warns Aberline not to interfere, emphasizing that this matter is between him and those who are manipulating events. Aberline, following orders from his superiors, is obligated to follow the course of action he's been given, even if it seems unjust. A secret meeting is held among various individuals, including Senor Carrero and members of the Pharaoh family. Lau is planning to relinquish his territory to the Pharaoh family, a move that the Pharaohs are eager to accept. The group discusses Stanley's murder and concludes that Lau was responsible for it. As Ciel is about to leave his confinement, Inspector Aberline stops him. Ciel asserts his authority, reminding Aberline not to underestimate the power of Phantomhive. He claims that even though his pawns may have been taken from him, he will continue to play the game until the end, a fate that comes with being born into the cursed Phantomhive lineage. Aberline extends an offer of assistance, expressing his willingness to be Ciel's pawn. Aberline manages to locate a boy who witnessed the murder. The boy describes a Chinese girl and a white-skinned man who gave him a candy, the same morphine-laced candy found earlier. A drug addict attempts to steal the candy, but Aberline intervenes. Senor Carrero is abducted by Ciel and Aberline. They interrogate him about the drug distribution, suspecting that Phantom candies are being used to spread drugs. Carrero implicates Lau in Stanley's murder, revealing that Stanley had made advances towards Lau, leading to his death by Lau's pet tigress. Carrero also suggests that Lau has obtained something valuable from Stanley. As Ciel and Aberline attempt to flee from Senor's men, Ciel unveils his hidden power by removing his eye patch and summoning Sebastian. The assailants are swiftly dealt with, and Ciel orders Sebastian to pursue Lau. With a cannon barrage from a distant castle, Ciel damages Lau's ship. In the midst of the chaos, Ciel and Sebastian board the ship. Lau's pet tigress attacks them, but Ciel manages to reach Lau's compartment. Lau reveals diplomatic documents proposing a military alliance with Germany and Italy, orchestrated by Queen Victoria. These documents indicate that the Queen intends to spark a war by invading France using opium, similar to how England once invaded Lau's homeland with the drug. Lau confesses that he has grown weary of being a pawn and wanted to engage in a high-stakes game with Ciel. Their confrontation intensifies as Lau attempts to attack Ciel with a sword. Sebastian defeats Ranmao, Lau's pet, but when Lau targets Ciel once more, Sebastian is impeded by Ranmao. Aberline intervenes, placing himself between Ciel and Lau. Lau manages to pierce Aberline with his sword, but Sebastian intervenes and wounds Lau. Lau succumbs to his injuries and dies. Ciel desperately attempts to save Aberline, but he passes away, expressing his contentment that Ciel is safe. Aberline sees a reflection of himself in Ciel and urges him to move forward before passing away. Ciel is devastated by Aberline's sacrifice and slaps Sebastian, blaming him for not protecting Aberline when he was in danger. A girl positions herself on a distant tower armed with a sniper rifle. Her vantage point allows her to clearly observe a group of men below without needing to use a scope. She prepares to pull the trigger to eliminate her targets, but her focus is momentarily disrupted when she notices a child running towards the men. Despite her hesitation, she readies her finger on the trigger. However, just before she can take the shot, a figure suddenly appears behind her, Sebastian. He offers her a proposition, which she ultimately accepts. Sebastian then escorts her back to the Phantomhive mansion. This girl turns out to be none other than Mei Rin. Meanwhile, the maids and the maiden of the mansion notice that Ciel's spirits are low, prompting them to hatch a plan to throw a party for him. As Finny works on the garden alongside Pluto, the loyal guard dog senses something amiss and starts howling. Ciel notices a new newspaper article detailing an upcoming expo in Paris. Sebastian informs Ciel that, as per Ash's information, Her Majesty will secretly be traveling to Paris to attend the event. After this, Sebastian departs and comes across Mei Rin, who is outside polishing the railings. As he continues on to prepare lunch, an explosion rocks the mansion's kitchen. Sebastian finds Baldroy emerging from the kitchen with his hair in an afro. Apparently, he had used dynamite as a cooking utensil to speed up the process. The kitchen is in shambles, and Baldroy explains that he hasn't yet grown accustomed to a life of peace since joining the Phantomhive household. Sebastian instructs him to clean up the mess before leaving. Meanwhile, Ciel remains melancholic over Aberline's death. The maids are curious about the mansion's past appearance before their time there, but Tanaka is unable to provide any substantial information. They turn to Elizabeth for answers, who fondly recalls the Phantomhive home as a place filled with smiles. The maids express their desire to bring those smiles back to the mansion. Elizabeth supports the idea and offers her assistance. However, as they discuss this, they hear a commotion and rush back inside the mansion. Pluto is barking at something, and Elizabeth questions the cause. The maids attempt to conceal whatever they were doing, but Sebastian intervenes and suggests Elizabeth rest before dinner. Back in Ciel's office, he's constructing a card house when Elizabeth enters. She proposes that he teach her chess, and he agrees. Sebastian is summoned to bring a chessboard, and Ciel begins to teach Elizabeth the game. As they engage in this activity, Sebastian contributes to the ambience by playing the violin in the background. Outside, the mansion comes under attack from enemies sent by Senor Correro. Baldo, Mei Rin, and Finny take on the role of defenders. Baldo, a former soldier, was recruited by Sebastian during a tense battle. Finny, who had escaped from an experiment facility, was also enlisted by Sebastian. He exhibits incredible strength, even hurling wooden boulders from the roof. As Ciel and Elizabeth engage in their chess lesson, Ciel's thoughts drift to what Lau had revealed about the impending world war and the death of Aberline. Back outside, the trio of defenders, Baldo, Mei Rin, and Finny, successfully repel the attackers, proving themselves as dedicated members of the Phantomhive household. Baldo expresses that Phantomhive servants who can't contribute in such situations aren't worthy of their position. Maria, the widow of the late Aberline, receives numerous gifts for her soon-to-be-born child along with a letter bearing the royal seal. Upon reading the letter, she bursts into tears, clearly moved by its contents. Meanwhile, Ciel is busy packing his belongings in preparation for his trip to Paris. During the cruise to Paris, Ciel is lost in thought, prompting Sebastian to inquire about his distracted state. Ciel confides in Sebastian about Lau's revelation concerning the Queen's role in instigating a world war. Upon their arrival in Paris, the iconic Eiffel Tower stands as the entrance to the exposition. The Machinery Hall, a magnificent structure of iron and glass, captivates their attention. Various exhibitions are taking place, each focusing on different topics. They overhear conversations about a stuffed angel exhibit and decide to investigate. However, to their surprise, the exhibit is revealed to be a mere monkey with wings. Just as Ciel considers leaving, the monkey comes to life, shattering the glass enclosure and causing chaos. Sebastian advises Ciel to depart while he handles the situation. As Ciel exits the area, he finds himself in an unfamiliar and unsettling environment. He encounters angelic figures near a fountain and attempts to retrace his steps, but the path he came from is now blocked. Fleeing, he hides in an elevator within the Eiffel Tower. To his astonishment, he discovers the queen sitting at the far end of the elevator. She cryptically speaks about uncleanness within him and the necessity of cleansing the entire state. She claims that creation cannot occur without destruction and justifies her actions as a means to purify the nation. The queen leads Ciel up the stairs, singing London Bridge is falling down along the way. Upon reaching the top of the tower, Ciel questions her motives behind the gruesome murders she orchestrated. She explains that she sought to pay tribute to Phantomhive's loyalty and aimed to cleanse the negative elements that had accumulated in her nation. As the wind sweeps away her mask, Ciel witnesses the youthful appearance of the queen. Unexpectedly, Ash appears, revealing that he merged his existence with hers to prevent her from ending her own life after her husband's death. He implies that her actions were driven by a desire to bring the same joy to the Phantomhive family. The queen's intentions, guided by her deceased husband, are to lead England into a world of purity and light. She maintains that her transformation has purified her into a virtuous individual worthy of being a master for an angel like Ash. She commands Ash to attack Ciel, but Sebastian intervenes, saving Ciel. Ciel commands Sebastian to eliminate Ash, and the ensuing battle between Ash and Sebastian is intense. The queen pleads with Ciel to stop the fight as the tower begins to crumble. Heeding Sebastian's advice, Ciel orders him to retreat. Ash takes the queen and flies away, leaving the chaotic scene behind. After the dust settles, Ciel explains his decision to Sebastian. He emphasizes that their fight could have attracted unwanted attention. Sebastian expresses shock at Ciel's revelation that he doesn't feel any loyalty towards the queen, only acting as the head of the Phantomhive family. As night falls, Sebastian prepares Ciel for bed, acknowledging Ciel's resilience in maintaining his facade. He encourages Ciel to forget about everything and rest. In a dreamlike state, Ciel encounters Aberline, who advises him to break free from being the queen's puppet. The next morning, as Ciel awakens, he realizes Sebastian is nowhere to be found. He contemplates whether their interactions the previous night marked a farewell. Ciel leaves the hotel and seeks a ride to the port of Calais. However, a deceitful cart driver drops him off at the port of Boulogne-sur-Mer and abandons him. Without any money, Ciel struggles to secure a place to stay. Meanwhile, the mansion of Phantomhive is engulfed in flames, with Pluto under Ash's control, spreading destruction. The ferocious fire has razed the entire Phantomhive mansion to the ground. Ciel finds refuge aboard a ship, concealing himself from the crew. Unexpectedly, Undertaker appears, offering him dog biscuits and cryptic words. Ciel rushes to the deck upon hearing screams, witnessing London engulfed in flames from a distance. Bewildered by Undertaker's presence, Ciel inquires why he is there. Undertaker responds with a sense of history between them and issues a foreboding statement that he will die soon. Meanwhile, Grell roams the chaotic streets of London, reaping the souls of the departed. Ash informs the queen that the salvation of the city through holy flames has commenced. The queen's health has deteriorated upon her return from Paris. Ash attempts to heal her, but she rebuffs his efforts, preferring to let her body succumb. Ash's grin suggests a sinister intention as he labels her unclean. He takes to the sky, heading toward the burning city, asserting that despite her royal status, she remains human and no amount of mercy can change human nature. As the ship heads away from London, Ciel approaches the captain, attempting to negotiate a return to the city. The captain refuses, prompting Ciel to offer a valuable blue diamond ring in exchange for a rowboat. As he arrives onshore, Ciel encounters a group of men who mistake him for French and attack him, attributing the fire to France. Amid the chaos and violence, he witnesses the city in turmoil. From the vantage point of a building, Ash observes Ciel's movements. Mayrin intervenes, saving Ciel from the assault. The other men in Ash's company include Sebastian, who refrains from joining forces with Ash despite his invitation. Ash unveils his unique form, mocking Sebastian by displaying his female attributes, a manifestation of Angela and Ash's merged identities. Ciel commands Baldo to shoot Pluto with real bullets, while Baldo, Mayrin, and Finny attempt to subdue the frenzied demon hound. Ciel, mounted on a horse, races toward the queen's palace. Inside the palace, he discovers the queen's lifeless body on her bed. Chaos unfolds as guards pursue him. As he is apprehended by the guards, Ciel identifies himself as Ciel Earl Phantomhive. In the midst of confrontation, Ciel sustains a gunshot wound to the pelvis, and his blood forms the distinctive mark in his eye. Just as the guards aim to execute Ciel, Sebastian intervenes, eliminating all but one guard. He instructs Sebastian to escort Ciel to the Angels of Massacre. Meanwhile, Ash absorbs the despair emanating from the deceased souls of London, an ominous power that hints at greater mysteries unfolding. Sebastian guides Ciel through the wreckage-filled river on a boat. The riverbanks are littered with bodies, a grim reminder of the chaos that has consumed London. In this city known for its bridges, some of which are believed to have been crafted by demons, there stands a significant contrast in the form of the Holy Tower Bridge. This bridge was commissioned by Queen Victoria herself under Ash's directive. Ciel and Sebastian ascend the tower, witnessing the souls embedded within its foundations. At the peak, they encounter Ash, who stands overlooking the burning city. Curious and outraged, Ciel questions Ash about the Queen's death. Ash, however, contends that he merely cleansed her. Sebastian finds a spot for Ciel to observe the unfolding confrontation and removes Ciel's eye patch, discarding it. Ciel issues a command for Sebastian to kill the angel. As their battle commences, they exchange powerful blows. However, Sebastian becomes ensnared in a black mist, leaving him incapacitated. Grell, fatigued from reaping souls, encounters Undertaker and learns about the nature of the black substance, composed of the emotions and experiences of the deceased. Undertaker ponders whether souls devoid of hearts can truly be considered souls and speculates if they can be stored in the Reaper's library. Ash's strength derives from the despair of unclean souls. His sword's glow foreshadows its deadly power. In a swift move, he severs Sebastian's right arm. William and Grell join forces with Undertaker, slicing through the black mist that has emerged from the dead. This action results in the souls dissipating from the tower bridge. The plan to call forth the demon hound using a whistle is thwarted as Phantomhive's servants defeat the hound. In frustration, Ash unleashes a barrage of attacks while manipulating Angela's form. Sebastian intervenes to protect Ciel, but Ash's final attack results in the loss of his arm. Sebastian advises Ciel to close his eyes and not open them until instructed. As Ciel complies, Sebastian reveals his true demonic form, frightening Ash. As Ciel listens to Angela's screams, Sebastian urges him to keep his eyes closed. The bridge trembles, and Sebastian counts to 10, culminating in the tower's violent destruction. Ciel sees Sebastian's former appearance and loses his grip on the bridge, falling into the river. In a daring move, Sebastian plunges after him, rescuing him from the water. Soma and Agni offer help to the public amidst the devastation, providing curry buns. Meanwhile, a false queen stands amidst London's ashes, proclaiming the commencement of a new era. Ciel reawakens to find himself on Sebastian's boat. As he opens his eyes, he observes Sebastian navigating his cinematic records, revealing that Sebastian is not yet dead. According to Sebastian, Baldo, Mayrin, and Finny are also alive, but Pluto has perished. Sebastian presents Ciel with Tanaka's diary, intended to keep him occupied during their journey. The diary unveils a conversation between Ciel's father and Tanaka, discussing the impending obliteration of the Phantomhive earldom by Queen Victoria. Ciel's father expresses no ill will toward her, urging Ciel to remain loyal to the Phantomhive name and to let go of hatred. This revelation resonates with the experiences shown by the angel. Their journey brings them to an island where ruins stand as a symbol of their journey's end. Sebastian guides Ciel to these ruins, and Ciel requests that Sebastian give whatever remains of him to the bird perched on the wall. Ciel inquires if his passing will be painful. Sebastian promises to be gentle, but Ciel insists on experiencing brutal pain as proof of his existence. As Ciel leans forward, Sebastian removes his eye patch, signaling the beginning of the soul-reaping process. The next day, a disgusting spoiled boy by the name of Alois was in his bedroom, sitting wrapped in just a bedsheet, his body marked with scars. The darkness around him seemed to creep closer, making him uneasy. A blue butterfly fluttered in the room, a tiny splash of color in the gloom. Suddenly, Alois useless screams, and as if to add to his terror, a spider appeared in his mouth, turning into a creepy symbol. It was like something out of a nightmare. In the morning, Ciel woke up in the fancy mansion, with his butler serving him tea, alongside helping him get dressed. Meanwhile, useless Alois tried to joke around with his butler named Claude, but the butler wasn't having it, so he ended up laughing by himself on the bed like a psychopath. At breakfast, he decided to make a mess on purpose like a spoiled brat, and as his maid cleaned it up, he crisp breezied her for just looking at him. Then, the black butler came in, all smooth and cool, and told Ciel about the guests coming over, including some money-hungry dude named Arnold Trancy. Alois got worried about a priest coming over and possibly questioning his wild stories, but the black butler by the name of Claude said he'd handle it. Then he did this crazy acrobatic show, redecorating the place like a pro. The spoiled brat was impressed and said he didn't need anyone else since he already has Claude. Meanwhile, in the jungle, carriages raced toward the mansion, carrying guests excited to see what was up. When they got there, Alois welcomed them warmly, showing off his fancy place. He even shared some stories about his tough BS past that I couldn't really care less about, trying to seem all sentimental. But beneath the glitz and glam, there was darkness lurking, hinting at some deeper secrets. In Alois's world, nothing was simple, and every smile hid a story of sadness and schemes. One day, Alois returned to find everyone in his village dead. Unfortunately, his father arrived just in time to rescue him. But gladly, even his father couldn't escape death's grip for long. Alois, now orphaned, found solace in his uncle's embrace, though it was clear their relationship wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. As Alois's father and the Viscount departed in their carriage, Arnold Trancy, Alois's uncle, stood outside, visibly displeased with the outcome of their meeting. But Alois had a surprise in store for him. From the balcony, he showered Arnold with money and land deeds, a gesture that Arnold couldn't resist. Meanwhile, a storm brewed on the horizon, catching the attention of Alois and Claude. Just then, a mysterious stranger appeared at the door, seeking shelter for the night. Alois, ever the curious one, welcomed the stranger in with open arms. At the dinner table, the disgusting spoiled brat offered the stranger food prepared by Claude. But the keen-eyed guest noticed a speck of sauce on his plate. Quick to rectify the situation, Claude cleaned it up without hesitation. However, when Hannah entered the bedroom to change the water, the stranger's inquiry about her eye set off a chain of events. Alois lashed out at Hannah, revealing a darker side to his personality. Later, in the depths of the mansion, Alois and the stranger stumbled upon a mysterious tea known as the New Moon Drop, its peculiar taste and color intriguing them both. But their exploration was interrupted by the sudden appearance of the Black Butler, who launched golden knives at the stranger, revealing his true identity as Sebastian. A chaotic chase ensued, with Claude attempting to capture Sebastian with a suitcase containing the real seal. Sebastian, however, managed to escape, invoking darkness and fear in Alois as the chandelier crashed to the ground. Hannah's timely arrival with light brought some semblance of order, but Sebastian fled into the night. Determined to capture Sebastian, Alois ordered his servants to pursue him, trusting only Claude to remain by his side. But as darkness threatened to engulf them all, Alois couldn't shake the feeling that they were all just pawns in a much larger game, where even the loyal could succumb to the shadows. Meanwhile, Sebastian fled with the suitcase, his escape shrouded in uncertainty. As the new day begins in the tale of Ciel and the Black Butler, Ciel finds himself in a dreamy landscape, with Sebastian skillfully navigating a small boat. By his side sits the lovely Elizabeth Midford, Ciel's fiancée, adding to the serene ambience. In another boat nearby, the rest of their loyal servants accompany them. In this picturesque setting, Ciel expresses gratitude to the townspeople for the installation of floodgates on the Phantomhive lands, a gesture that has undoubtedly benefited the community. However, the mood shifts when a grand carriage arrives, bearing a woman of importance. Despite Ciel's acknowledgement, the townsfolk can't help but gossip about his wealth, only to fall silent in shame when he confronts them. Elizabeth, attempting to distract from the awkwardness, presents a newspaper featuring a white stag, believed to be a messenger from the otherworld and a symbol of good fortune. Sebastian shares the legend, but Ciel dismisses it as mere fiction, causing Elizabeth to burst into tears, much to the dismay of the onlookers. Concerned for Elizabeth's happiness, Ciel decides to take her boating, much to her delight. Meanwhile, he confides in Sebastian about his responsibilities towards Elizabeth's happiness and the welfare of the town, a duty that weighs heavily on his shoulders. Sebastian, instructing the other servants, emphasizes the importance of maintaining appearances to avoid further speculation about Ciel and Elizabeth's engagement. Despite his instructions, the servants conspire to salvage the engagement, unable to resist intervening. As Elizabeth eagerly searches for the white stag, the servants arrive, each holding a white animal in hand. Meanwhile, inside the carriage, a mysterious man accompanied by Ran Mao watches the events unfold, secretly harboring ill wishes towards Ciel. The townsfolk gather around a betting carriage, wagering on Elizabeth's success in finding the stag and the fate of her engagement. Meanwhile, Elizabeth plans to resume her search after lunch, only to be surprised when Sebastian unveils baskets filled not with the expected lunch, but with unexpected contents, a pig and a pigeon. After the prank, Sebastian apologizes to his masters and reprimands the other servants before preparing a meal using local ingredients for them. As they resume their search for the white stag, rain suddenly pours down, forcing everyone to seek shelter. However, Elizabeth's determination drives her into the forest, much to Ciel's concern. As the bet collector gathers the winnings, Ciel implores Sebastian to find Elizabeth and bring her back safely. Soon, the boys return, reporting Elizabeth's plight in the boat. Rushing to her aid, they discover her struggling as she insists on pursuing the stag across the river. Sebastian realizes the danger posed by the old floodgate and rushes to prevent disaster. Despite Ciel's concerns for Elizabeth's safety, he prioritizes saving both her and the floodgate. With a decisive move, Sebastian sacrifices his hand to break the floodgate, redirecting the river's flow and averting a catastrophe. Ciel, unconscious after the ordeal, wakes to question Sebastian's actions, only to learn of the strategic alteration to prevent future flooding. Relieved that Elizabeth is safe, they discover a stunning surprise, a magnificent chalky white stag engraved on the land, a testament to their adventure. Grateful for Ciel's unwavering pursuit of the white stag, Elizabeth expresses her appreciation, and they stand together, basking in the happiness of their shared achievement. As a beautiful couple exits the photographer's studio, the woman expresses concern about the quality of their photos, while her husband reassures her that they will turn out splendidly. Meanwhile, atop a towering structure, a mysterious figure observes. Suddenly, a glimmer appears behind the wife's back, and she ignites, turning to ashes in moments, leaving her husband stunned and empty-handed. Meanwhile, Ciel peruses the newspaper, noting the rising crime rates, while Sebastian serves him tea. Concerned for the safety of the realm, Ciel resolves to keep Madame Red informed, despite her troublesome nature. As they travel in the carriage, Ciel gazes upon the Phantomhive estate, determined to unravel the mysteries surrounding his father's death, even if it means putting himself at risk. He vows vengeance against those who wronged him, alive or dead. Chief Investigator Sir Arthur is probing the recent human combustion case, and when Ciel arrives at the scene, he queries Arthur about the connection to the burning incidents. Arthur assures him of a thorough investigation and mentions that Scotland Yard is reviewing old case reports. Meanwhile, Sebastian's attention is captivated by adorable kittens nearby. Later, Ciel visits the Undertaker, who presents him with a jar containing the ashes of the deceased wife, the only remains left after the intense fire. Meanwhile, at the photographer's studio, the husband mourns his wife's demise, and when the photo of the couple shatters, he is left with only memories of her beauty. As he passes Ciel, a faint glow catches the latter's eye, reminding him of Sebastian's earlier explanation about magnesium oxide used in photography. Upon further investigation, Ciel discovers that Mr. Lau recently imported magnesium oxide, coinciding with the locations of the burn incidents. Sebastian uncovers a pattern. All the victims were newlywed brides photographed at Mr. Turner's studio. In a shocking turn, Mrs. Turner exacts revenge on her husband, incinerating him for his obsession with photographing joyful brides. As Mrs. Turner takes her turn to spread the magnesium oxide through the streets, Ciel and Sebastian give chase, attempting to apprehend her. However, she retaliates by shooting at them with her camera, forcing Ciel to command Sebastian to capture her. In the pursuit, Sebastian stumbles upon Grell in a narrow alley, revealing him to be a Grim Reaper to Ciel. Pooling their efforts, they track down Mrs. Turner, who continues her spree of burning people throughout the city. Grell questions Sebastian's decision to let her go, but Sebastian counters by asking why Grell isn't fulfilling his duty. Grell explains that today, he is tasked with reaping Margaret Turner's soul alone, as all the other souls she burned are already lost. Determined to bring justice, they locate Margaret atop a tower, where she hurls magnesium oxide below. Ciel ascends the tower to confront Margaret, but she becomes enraged and attacks him. Meanwhile, Sebastian strategizes with Grell to capture the elderly woman. As Sebastian and Grell ascend the tower, Margaret hurls magnesium oxide at them, but Grell remains unaffected. Upon reaching Margaret, Grell playfully poses for photographs before Sebastian disarms her. Questioned about her actions, Margaret reveals that a man with golden eyes promised her love and happiness in exchange for her deeds. As she succumbs to her burning body, Grell is perplexed by the missing soul in his ledger but ultimately decides to depart after taking a photo with Sebastian. Ciel resolves to report the incident to the Majesty and instructs Sebastian to investigate further into the mysterious spider guy. At the train station, a group bids farewell to their master when an overexcited boy named Finney accidentally knocks over a large wooden box, revealing a mummy inside. Ciel is intrigued by the discovery, but Sebastian assures him that such items are becoming increasingly common collectibles. However, Ciel remains suspicious, especially after noticing peculiar marks on the servant's hands. On board the train, Sebastian offers Ciel a particular tea, but Ciel seems uneasy. Sebastian warns him of potential danger, especially from criminals who may recognize them. Ciel's attention is drawn to Lord Ackroyd, who carries a suitcase containing ransom money for his kidnapped son. Determined to rescue the boy and impress the Queen, Ciel resolves to capture the kidnappers on board. As they explore the train, they encounter an archaeologist boasting about a recent discovery of Pharaoh Smenkhkare. Sebastian notes discrepancies in the pharaoh's appearance, suggesting the artifact may be fake. They also encounter a train-obsessed lunatic and accidentally upset a Japanese man, though a kind Japanese lady offers them food. Meanwhile, a priest preaches about hospitality, but Ciel notices tattoos on his hands, adding to his suspicions. Suddenly, Fred Aberline enters and announces the presence of an assassin aboard the train, causing panic among passengers. However, he greets Ciel warmly, hinting at a deeper connection. As the train car empties out, Ciel, Sebastian, and Fred enjoy their lunch, chatting amiably. Fred mentions that his brother Arthur holds Ciel in high regard. However, Sebastian notices a peculiar man lurking at a distant table. Mid-meal, Ciel ponders the passengers aboard, and his attention is drawn to a man with scars on his hands, identifying him as the porter from the station. They give chase, but the kidnapper manages to detach the train car. In the next car, the boy's father prepares to deliver the ransom money, prompting Ciel to order Sebastian to pursue him. Sebastian apprehends the kidnapper in the nick of time, but the kidnapper reveals the presence of a bomb on the train. With no time to spare, Sebastian races after the runaway train, diverting it away from the danger of the bomb but towards a precarious bridge. Meanwhile, Ciel ventures into the luggage section to rescue the boy, only to fall into the clutches of the kidnapper. In the lounge car, Fred and the Japanese lady suffer from stomach pains, suspected to be cholera, adding to the chaos. As Sebastian confronts the kidnapper atop the train, Fred intervenes, suggesting a cholera outbreak to distract the assailant. The priest and the archaeologist step forward to handle the bomb threat, while the timetable-obsessed lunatic sets a time limit for their actions. Sebastian manages to defeat the kidnapper and tosses him from the roof of the train just as the bomb explodes harmlessly in the sky. With his incredible strength, Sebastian halts the train's momentum single-handedly, ensuring the safety of all passengers. After the chaos subsides, Alois's butler warns Sebastian to be cautious, hinting at potential trouble ahead. Sebastian, unfazed, responds with a sharp retort. In a line, people gather to receive food from Soma as Sebastian confides in Agni about Ciel's memory situation. In another carriage, the three servants ride joyfully, while Ciel and Sebastian discuss Alois's past, including his kidnapping and return with a mysterious butler after his father's death. As they approach the Phantomhive gate, they're greeted by Claude, who emphasizes the house's tradition of not harming spiders, symbolized by a spider web. Inside, Ciel encounters Elizabeth and Lau, inquiring about Madame Red's absence. He then meets Prince Soma, who is deeply distressed upon seeing Ciel. Despite Sebastian and Agni's attempts to comfort him, Soma continues to cry, prompting Sebastian to escort Ciel to his room. As they traverse the mansion, Ciel experiences flashbacks, prompting him to urge Sebastian to search every corner. Meanwhile, in his bedroom, Alois struggles to choose an outfit, eventually instructing Hannah to disrobe, leaving her standing naked. At the ball, guests wear elaborate costumes, with Elizabeth adorning Ciel with a feather while dressed as a pirate. Agni is Sherlock Holmes, while Baldroy, Finian, and Mayrin masquerade as the Three Musketeers. Despite suggestions for his attire, Ciel rejects the options. Lau observes the festivities while Sebastian and Claude engage in a conversation about their butler abilities. In the midst of the party, Baldroy, Finian, and Mayrin inadvertently cause chaos, nearly destroying the table, wine crate, and dishes. However, the mansion's servants swiftly manage the damage. Meanwhile, Hannah accidentally spills a drink on Ciel's costume, prompting her to lead him away to clean it. As Hannah cleans Ciel's costume, she notices his ring and engages in playful banter with him. Suddenly, she playfully removes the eye cover from Ciel's face and flees, prompting him to follow. As Ciel pursues her, he experiences vivid flashbacks upon seeing the mansion walls, recalling someone entering a staircase. Driven by these memories, Ciel continues his pursuit into the mansion's storeroom, where he experiences more intense flashbacks and nearly collapses. Fleeing the mansion, Ciel is followed by Hannah into the trees, where he mistakenly addresses her as Alois. Alois appears, removing his headband, accompanied by Claude and the servants. Ciel confronts Alois, who declares his desire for Ciel alone and claims that his butler, Claude, surpasses Sebastian in power. Reminded of his promises to Ciel, Sebastian prepares to defend his master as both butlers stand ready to do whatever it takes to protect their respective masters. In a desolate wasteland, the butler strives to draw nearer to his master. His eyes, glinting with an unfamiliar light, betray the confusion of his emotions.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, Sebastian valiantly defends his master from the onslaught of assailants. The trio of service men launch an attack on Sebastian and Ciel, yet Sebastian manages to fend them off, whisking Ciel away from danger. Amidst the chaos, Alois observes Sebastian's unwavering dedication and quips to Claude, "Can he outdo you?" Back at the Grand Hall, where revelry reigns, Hannah makes a dramatic entrance with a peculiar trolley. With a flourish, she unveils a mysterious instrument and, after a curious lick of her hand, begins to play. Suddenly, a shrill sound fills the air, captivating most of the attendees. Soma rushes to Agni, suspecting mischief, but Agni denies involvement. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Sebastian shields his master's ears, fretting over the events unfolding at the hall. As the pandemonium escalates, Sebastian's loyalty shines as he repeatedly comes to Ciel's rescue. Finally, after dispatching the attackers, Ciel instructs Sebastian to escort him to the hall. Assuring Ciel of a capable friend's presence, Sebastian departs for the hall. Back at the ball, chaos erupts as some attendees succumb to the enchanting sound, turning hostile towards others. Baldroy, Finney, and Mayrin find solace as the sound lulls them into relaxation. Sebastian's ally takes charge, rendering the unruly guests unconscious, while others attempt to mimic his technique. Sebastian improvises, mitigating the shrieking sound with the soothing tones of wine glasses, gradually restoring calm. Meanwhile, the instrument wielded by Hannah meets its demise, prompting Sebastian's commendation. Alois emerges, pleased with the spectacle, and praises Ciel's butler. With the crisis averted, Ciel and Alois dispatch their butlers to swiftly resolve lingering matters. Retreating to a desolate locale, Sebastian confronts Claude about his nefarious intentions, reminiscing about a time when his master's soul was endangered. A fierce altercation ensues, revealing Claude's desire to prolong Ciel's suffering until his memories resurface. Ciel resolves to safeguard his master's soul, prompting Claude to acknowledge the rarity of Sebastian's devotion. Back at the ball, Ciel's attention shifts to the tempting spread of food, prompting speculation among the attendees about its potential to trigger his memories. In a clandestine meeting, the two butlers reach a resolution, sealing it with a symbolic exchange of bloodied roses, much to the amusement of, well, nobody, because that's just weird. Returning to the ball, Sebastian presents Ciel with a stamped document, while Alois bemoans Claude's failure to rein in Sebastian. The evening concludes with a dance as tensions simmer between Ciel and Alois, each vowing to outdo the other. In Ciel's office, Sebastian lays out the day's agenda, culminating in an invitation from the Trancy family. Ciel, upon reading it, promptly tears it to shreds, recalling the tumultuous history between him and Alois. Back in the day, both were darlings of the queen, until Alois's wild antics led to the incineration of Ciel's estate. Alois and his hapless butler covered their tracks, leaving Ciel simmering with vengeance. Arriving at Alois's grand abode, they discover a peculiar twist, a deadly dance-off orchestrated by Alois. Instead of the masters dancing, it's the butlers representing, with the loser at the mercy of the victor. Sebastian whispers to Ciel that it's essentially a death match, but Ciel, ever calculating, sees it as an opportunity. Ciel issues a strict directive, no eliminating, as he reserves the privilege of dispatching Alois himself. Meanwhile, Alois commands Claude to inflict torment upon Sebastian. As the ball commences, Viscount Droot stumbles upon the clandestine affair, initially confused by the change in plans. However, upon glimpsing Hannah's beauty, he decides to stick around for the spectacle. On stage, the tension mounts as the butlers square off. Claude enlists the trio of servicemen to assail Sebastian, yet their efforts prove futile against his adept maneuvering. Hannah joins the fray, wielding knives and pistols, but Sebastian, ever resourceful, fends her off, even managing to mend his torn suit mid-battle. Just as the confrontation reaches a crescendo, Claude calls a halt, citing tea time. Both butlers, however, engage in a culinary skirmish, culminating in a spectacular food sculpture that leaves Viscount Droot gobsmacked. And so, amidst the chaos of vendettas and culinary escapades, the dance of deception and defiance continues, proving that even in the face of adversity, a little creativity and a lot of food can go a long way. At the table, the two butlers skillfully serve up a feast fit for kings. The Viscount's eyes widen as he beholds the delectable spread, unable to contain his watering eyes at the tantalizing aromas and flavors. As the ball resumes, the tension escalates. Claude, ever the showman, conjures a sword from Hannah's mouth, igniting a duel between the two butlers. Ciel, however, abruptly rises from his seat and takes his leave, prompting Alois to pursue him. In the corridors, the Viscount stumbles upon the unfolding drama, witnessing the master's impending showdown. With swords drawn, Ciel and Alois engage in a fierce battle, their grievances fueling each strike. Meanwhile, Claude ensnares Sebastian in his web of deceit, poised for a fatal blow. Yet, Sebastian's resolve strengthens upon hearing his master's desperate cries for help. As Ciel and Alois struggle, their butlers rush to intervene, only to find Ciel delivering a decisive blow to Alois. Despite his pleas for mercy, Ciel remains resolute, fueled by years of anguish inflicted by his adversary. In a dramatic turn, Ciel's impending strike is halted by Claude, who tastes Ciel's blood with a sinister curiosity. Enraged, Ciel retaliates, delivering a resounding slap to Claude's face, stained with the blood of his foe. Sebastian swiftly ushers Ciel away from the chaos, bringing the ball to an abrupt halt. As they depart, Claude remains frozen in contemplation, pondering the purity of Ciel's blood. Alois, left to his fate, beseeches Claude for salvation, but Claude remains unmoved, leaving Alois to collapse in despair upon the cold, unforgiving floor. Alois lies in his bed as Hannah enters to tend to his wounds, but his temper flares, demanding Claude's presence instead. With a smile, Claude attends to the task, his demeanor betraying a hint of intrigue at Alois's blood. As Claude departs, Alois catches a glimpse of his enigmatic smile, stirring unease within him. Meanwhile, Ciel roams the hallways and encounters Hannah, engaging in an intimate exchange with her, unaware of the whispers exchanged between the three servicemen and Claude. In a reflective moment, Alois recalls the hardships he and his brother Luca endured since their parents' demise, descending into a life of petty theft and bitterness. Their darkest desire for vengeance is seemingly granted when their tormentors meet a mysterious demise. But tragedy strikes when Alois loses his beloved brother. As the palace carriages bring in the survivors, Alois faces further cruelty from an old man who berates him for his perceived flaws. Cleansed of the grime in the washroom, Alois learns of the existence of fairies capable of granting wishes, sparking his curiosity. In a surreal encounter in the jungle, Alois finds himself ensnared in a spider's web, where he encounters a mystical spider offering to grant his deepest desire. Expressing his hatred for the villagers, now deceased, Alois seeks only an escape. Meanwhile, the impatient old man awaits the boys, including Alois, whom he addresses as his son. In a private conversation with Claude, Alois broaches the subject of Sebastian, hinting at deeper machinations at play. And so, amidst the tangled webs of deceit and desire, Alois's journey takes a surreal turn as he grapples with his past, his desires, and the enigmatic figures that surround him. Claude reveals to Alois that Sebastian has already consumed one soul, but is now fixated on Ciel Phantomhive's soul. Alois commands Claude to procure Ciel's soul and eliminate any remnants of Ciel's existence. When questioned about his indirect approach to revenge, Alois confides in his desire to prolong Claude's suffering. In the carriage, Grell arrives to claim Alois's soul, but Alois defies fate by ordering Hannah to confront Grell. Back at the mansion, Alois vents his frustrations by hurling dishes at Claude, expressing disdain for his eyes. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Hannah valiantly battles the Grim Reaper, but ultimately succumbs to the fatal blow of his scythe. Alois reflects on his past traumas, recalling the cruelty he endured at the hands of the old man. Desperate for solace, Alois implores Claude to recreate the sense of belonging he once felt in his presence. As a wolf closes in on Alois, Claude intervenes, saving him from certain death. Overwhelmed by gratitude, Alois proclaims Claude as his sovereign, unknowingly sealing his own fate. Upon hearing Alois's declaration, Claude deems his master's soul too weak and takes it, along with Alois's ring. Grell appears, realizing the intricacies of Alois's demise, despite the absence of his soul in the ledger. In a clandestine meeting, Claude quizzes his staff about the soul-containing ring of Alois, receiving incorrect responses from the three boys. However, Hannah astutely identifies the subtle change in decor, impressing Claude with her keen observation. Claude reveals his strategy, mentioning a slight alteration in the shade of blue, imperceptible to most but indicative of a significant shift. Meanwhile, Sebastian pores over notes in his office, deciphering their next move with calculated precision. In Ciel's chambers, the young master grapples with the weight of recent events, seeking solace in Sebastian's storytelling. As Sebastian narrates a tale of pursuit and capture, Ciel's thoughts drift to the recent attacks on young boys, sparking concern. In the carriage, Ciel discusses the case with Sebastian, his mind lingering on Alois's cryptic words. Back at the meeting, a boy recounts an attack that left him injured, prompting Ciel to connect the dots. Analyzing the city map, Ciel discerns a pattern reminiscent of a spider's web, realizing that he himself is the ultimate target. Sebastian deduces that Alois's butler must be behind the orchestrated assaults, but before they can strategize further, they come under attack. Quick thinking leads Sebastian to conceal Ciel in a wooden box, preparing for a confrontation with Ronald Knox, a Grim Reaper. As Sebastian engages in combat, Ciel, confined within the box, grapples with fragmented memories resurfacing in his mind. Determined to confront his past and present adversaries, Ciel emerges from the box, resolved to face the unfolding chaos head-on. And so, amidst the swirling intrigue and danger, Ciel braces himself for the challenges ahead, fueled by a newfound resolve to confront the shadows of his past and secure his future. As Ciel continues his frantic pursuit, he spots someone dressed identically to him, prompting a chase. However, his pursuit is halted by the arrival of two policemen, who apprehend him. Hannah intervenes, claiming Ciel as her master, Alois citing his traumatic past and the distinctive mark engraved in his eye. Convinced by her explanation, the officers release Ciel into Hannah's care. Meanwhile, in the intense battle, Sebastian gains the upper hand against the Grim Reapers, ultimately escaping their grasp and soaring away into the sky, leaving his adversaries empty-handed. In the tranquil garden, Claude completes his intricate garment, adorning himself with the meticulously crafted design. Back in captivity, Ciel endures torture and psychological manipulation at the hands of the policemen, who attempt to coerce him into believing Alois's fabricated story as his own. Despite their efforts, Ciel remains steadfast in his identity. Upon Sebastian's arrival, Ciel, consumed by false memories, accuses Sebastian of the murder of his parents under Claude's manipulative influence. Heartbroken, Sebastian acquiesces to Ciel's orders to leave, while Claude observes the unfolding drama. As Sebastian departs with a heavy heart, he reflects on his duties as a Phantomhive butler, resolute in his mission to dispel the webs of deception clouding Ciel's mind, even as his own heart aches. And so, amidst the turmoil of shattered identities and fractured loyalties, Sebastian forges ahead, determined to reclaim Ciel's lost memories and restore the truth, no matter the cost. In the bedroom, Ciel is snoozing away when suddenly Claude jolts him awake with a cup of tea. Bleary-eyed, Ciel groggily accepts the tea while Claude sets about helping him get dressed. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, Sebastian observes this scene with a mix of amusement and annoyance. Ciel, still half asleep, asks about Alois, to which Claude solemnly replies that he met his demise by Ciel's own blade. Ciel, ever the stoic, remarks that Alois was weak, hence his fate. Claude, however, seems more interested in admiring Ciel's legs, noting their smoothness and delicacy. This admiration takes a bizarre turn when Claude plants a kiss on Ciel's foot, only to be promptly rebuffed. In the jungle, Sebastian vents his frustration by pounding his fist against a tree trunk, catching Ciel's attention. Concerned, Ciel instructs Claude to reinforce the mansion's defenses. Seizing the opportunity to stir up some jealousy, Claude steps out and tries to make Sebastian envious, much to Sebastian's displeasure. Meanwhile, Grell snaps some photos of the jealous demon, finding immense joy in Sebastian's discomfort. Sebastian, spotting Grell, retaliates by hurling a nearby statue in his direction. Then, to add insult to injury, he prepares a particularly vile cup of tea for Grell, exacerbating his wounds. With a sly grin, Sebastian falsely accuses Claude of Alois's demise and the subsequent soul transference onto Ciel. Back at the mansion, Claude attends to Ciel's grooming needs, showering him with compliments until a mishap with the toothbrush irks Ciel. Despite the slip-up, Claude reassures Ciel of his loyalty and offers to aid him in seeking vengeance against Sebastian. Their conversation, unbeknownst to them, draws Sebastian's attention, prompting him to swoop towards the mansion in a fit of rage, with Grell in tow, eager for more scandalous snapshots. As Ciel wanders the garden, pondering Claude's cryptic title of young master and the truth behind Alois's demise, his frustration mounts, leading him to vent by destroying some flowers. However, his rage is interrupted by the unexpected appearance of Hannah, who accidentally gets hit by Ciel's wayward stick. Despite their adversarial relationship, Ciel extends a helping hand to Hannah, surprising both her and a curious servant boy observing from afar. Meanwhile, Sebastian and Grell venture into the cursed village of Arachnophile, where they encounter an elderly survivor with a chilling tale of a pact with a demon that led to the village's downfall. The woman recounts a harrowing encounter with a young boy who had made a deal with a demon for vengeance, a tale that unfolds eerily similar to the boy's predictions, leaving Sebastian and Grell with a spine-tingling mystery to unravel. As the woman finishes her tale, a sudden gunshot echoes through the air, ending her life abruptly. The three servant boys, fueled by their loyalty to Sebastian, launch an attack, only to find themselves ensnared by Sebastian's deft thread manipulation. Grell, always ready to capture the drama on camera, shows Sebastian the incriminating footage of Ciel holding hands with Hannah, igniting a jealous fury within the demon. Sebastian, his demonic powers surging with envy, swiftly dispatches the service boys before departing from the scene. Back at the mansion, Ciel is gripped by fear, claiming to have seen Alois's reflection in the mirror. Seeking solace, Ciel retreats to his bedchamber with Hannah, expressing his weariness of the mansion's turmoil and his desire to restore peace. However, Ciel's moment of vulnerability turns into a chilling revelation when he notices the peculiar color of Hannah's eye. With a sense of dread, Hannah implores Ciel to peer into her mouth, revealing an unsettling sight, his own eye staring back at him. She cryptically explains that it is his own eye, sending shivers down Ciel's spine as he grapples with the implications. Meanwhile, Claude confronts Sebastian in the palace, only to be met with a declaration of obedience to his master's will, keeping himself hidden from Ciel's sight. Sebastian's gesture of throwing a flower towards Claude signifies a breach of their agreement, accusing Claude of prematurely initiating their conflict. Claude counters by claiming that Ciel's pure soul has rejuvenated the typically jaded demons, fueling their eagerness for the impending showdown. Their exchange escalates into a fierce demon battle, with Ciel unwittingly becoming a pawn in their power struggle. As Ciel ascends a towering statue, Sebastian attempts to conceal himself, but Claude reveals his presence, effectively renouncing Sebastian's role as Ciel's butler for defying his master's commands. Meanwhile, Ciel, teetering on the precipice of despair, contemplates a drastic course of action, threatening to end his own life by plummeting from the statue's height. As Ciel finds himself inexplicably at the pinnacle, confusion clouds his mind, unable to comprehend his sudden ascent. Below, Sebastian, Claude, and Hannah stand distantly, prompting Sebastian to inquire about the terms for Ciel's return. Hannah asserts ownership of Ciel's body while acknowledging his soul's lingering presence, indicating that it awaited awakening. However, she reveals a twist: Ciel's soul was stolen, utilized by another entity inhabiting a feeble vessel. Despite the apparent constraints, Hannah emphasizes the untethered nature of their hearts, setting Sebastian and Claude on a quest to retrieve Ciel's soul. Together, they embark from the garden's confines, with Hannah observing from Ciel's side. Meanwhile, Ciel's soul struggles to untangle its memories, endeavoring to reclaim its identity amidst the jumble. In the garden, the butlers encounter a series of enigmatic letters, each posing a challenge related to a Lois Trancy. Sebastian mistakenly identifies the disgusting brattle Lois's real name as Jim Mackin, leading to his entrapment by the garden's branches. Claude, correctly identifying a Lois's favorite food, progresses to the next challenge, while Sebastian faces repercussions for his error. As Sebastian faces his own challenge, Grell arrives, only to be caught in the chaos. Sebastian, desperate for assistance, implores Grell to aid in his liberation. With each question, the stakes heighten, culminating in a blast that propels Sebastian through the next door. Meanwhile, Ciel's recollections of his pact with Sebastian intertwine with his present state, symbolized by his self-inflicted scratches atop the structure. As Hannah intervenes to prevent Ciel from harming himself further, he lashes out at her in a fit of desperation. Despite his outburst, the labyrinth continues to evolve, mirroring the depths of Ciel's own heart. As the trials progress, Claude faces his final inquiry: the motive behind Alois's demise. Initially claiming passion as his justification, Claude eventually reveals his true intent: to utilize Alois's soul as a conduit to reach Ciel. His admission triggers a cataclysmic event, sending Claude plummeting into the depths below. Meanwhile, Ciel, racked with emotional turmoil, is comforted by Hannah, who affectionately addresses him as brother. As Claude's cycle of questioning begins anew, revelations about Luca's contract with Hannah come to light, challenging Ciel's perceptions of those around him. Hannah's revelation of her love for Luca adds a poignant layer to the intricate web of alliances and betrayals. As Sebastian navigates the final question regarding Claude's actions, the looming threat of the labyrinth's collapse looms ever closer. In a last-ditch effort to save Ciel, both Sebastian and Claude unite against Hannah's machinations. However, their efforts are in vain as Hannah's spirits seal away to the clock tower, where the culmination of their contracts awaits. In a heart-wrenching moment of realization, Ciel acknowledges Claude as his eternal highness, professing his love before succumbing to his fate. With the completion of the contract, Hannah reveals the true nature of her pact with Jim Mackin and Ciel's soul, cementing the tragic conclusion of their intertwined destinies. As the dust settles and the echoes of their tumultuous journey fade, the lingering question remains: amidst the chaos and deception, was there ever truly a victor, or were they all merely pawns in a larger, more insidious game? As Hannah unveils the conditions of Ciel's soul's release, she reveals that it will remain in darkness until her master's soul is freed. With her sealed eye bearing Alois's mark, they journey towards the ominous Death Island. Along the way, Hannah divulges that her master has entered into a contract within Ciel's body, yet she withholds the specifics. Amidst the tension, Hannah proposes a deadly ultimatum: one of the butlers must perish. Refusing to disclose further details, she warns that attempting to eliminate her will summon the Black Butler along with Ciel. Reluctantly, Sebastian and Claude agree to a duel to decide their fates. Within Ciel's body, Ciel and Alois share a serene moment, contemplating the complexity of their relationship with their respective butlers. As the duel ensues on Death Island, the demon sword is retrieved from Hannah's possession, its potency unveiled. In a fierce battle, Sebastian emerges victorious, mortally wounding Claude and liberating Alois's soul. However, Hannah reveals a bitter truth: despite retrieving Ciel's soul, his living self will remain akin to the dead. With a final act of sacrifice, she plunges into the sea with Ciel's body, prompting Sebastian to follow in a desperate bid to save his master. In the aftermath, Sebastian tends to Ciel, whose eyes continuously shift in color, signaling a profound transformation. Amidst the uncertainty, Miss Elizabeth's arrival brings a fleeting moment of normalcy, albeit marred by Ciel's unstable condition. As they dance, Ciel's eyes betray his inner turmoil, reflecting his altered state. Meanwhile, Sebastian discreetly arranges gifts for various acquaintances, signaling Ciel's departure from London. With each interaction, the weight of their shared ordeal lingers, casting a shadow over their newfound semblance of normalcy. As the sun rises, Ciel awakens to a world forever changed, his destiny intertwined with the enigmatic forces that bind him to the darkness. With Sebastian by his side, they embark on a journey fraught with uncertainty, navigating the intricate web of alliances and betrayals that define their existence. That concludes the recap of both seasons. Lucky for us though, Season 3 is coming very soon, so make sure to subscribe to see what happens next. If you enjoyed, make sure to let me know down below. Peace.